Welcome to the Hopeless Stream.
Welcome to the Hopeless Stream.
Yes, it is Sunday here on the banks of the Hopeless Stream.
Yes.
And we have prepared a little table for you. A cosmic table, I would say.
Cosmic table.
Full of stars and weird cosmic animals and blinking little flowers.
Blinking flowers.
Blinking flowers. Haven't you never seen that when you look up into space? You see blinking flowers up there.
Wow.
You know, I was reading this article earlier today that they discovered what they believe to be the oldest map of the stars in the world. Supposedly, or it is made in China. It's still debated how old it is, but there was an article that came out that said that this star map was from, I think, the 3rd, 4th century BC.
Wow.
And you can clearly see the formations of the stars and how they connect them with different lines, which are, of course, different from how we would connect them today. And the interesting thing about the star map is that what it depicts is really a map of some kind of celestial mansion. It's this idea that in the sky there is a palace, and the stars basically show the outlines of the palace. So the different formations of stars have names like the kitchen.
So it's rooms inside a mansion.
You look up and then you see like there's a chariot there and there's a kitchen, and there's even a single star in one place which is named excrement in a toilet.
That's very specific. It's too specific. It's way too specific. Unnecessary even.
So it seems that the oldest map of the stars that we know connects the dots that are the stars into forming an image of a celestial mansion. I think that's pretty beautiful and also very profane in a way. Not profane, but
profound.
Very prosaic in a way.
Prosaic.
That it's not like weird mythical beings or something, but like it's a palace. There's a gate. There's a chariot outside waiting for you, and this is the bedchamber of the divine king, or whatever it is. So it's like an architectural map of the mansion of the gods. That's what you look up.
That's nice.
That's what you see when you look at the stars. That everything that we experience, all the different worlds that we're going to visit tonight, are basically all part of a larger, perhaps even unseen map of divine. I mean, where we're sitting right now, we could be sitting anywhere in this divine map, right? And this planet, it might form like one of the cornerstones in the wall at the outer courtyard, or it might be a huge window at the end of the dining hall. We don't know exactly what our sun might be in other worlds' star map.
Absolutely. So we're adrift, so to speak.
We are very much adrift between the stars, adrift in the celestial mansion.
Tumbling through the cosmic void.
And the word drift is central to what we're playing tonight.
So it was my segue.
That was a wonderfully subtle segue, because we are playing Stardrifter.
And we have been in the presence, we have been close to this type of game before. We have skirted around this genre before.
We absolutely have. In fact, if you are a frequent follower of the Hopeless Stream, you might remember that last year we played a game called The Drifter.
Yes.
And that was a Western-themed game where we told the story of Hopeless Hank and...
Hopeless Hank, I remember now.
Yeah, and I think Big Hand Bill or something.
Yeah.
Eagle and Wolf. And that game was the prequel to this game.
Yes.
So The Drifter came out in 2020. We should say that The Drifter and Stardrifter are both made by Ken Kennedy, who is the designer, and who his games are available both as PDF files, and you can also buy soft copies, like print-on-demand copies of his games.
So you can download them and print them out yourself, or you can buy them.
Yeah, I mean, and if you buy them, what you get is basically you get a book, like a tome, I would say.
This is a huge tome.
It's a huge book. So you get this book, and you can see it's pretty decent tome here. with lots of tables and stuff in it.
Impressive. I didn't know it was that big.
And this is what you get. And then the map that you see here, and you have to print out yourself. And there are also various tables and like character sheets and spaceship sheets and so on that you have to print out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty easy to do actually. You just you get the book, you print out, you have all the tables, you can really set up and you can play. So,
but by the way, Jeden reminds us that we should not forget about his love, Lucy.
yes.
That was the major storyline in the last Drifter game.
Yes. Yeah, the game basically kicked off with Hopeless Hank being drunk once again behind the bar. And he went in and he met this wonderful girl, Lucy. And then for the next 4 or 5 hours, we were trying to basically find our way back to Lucy.
Yes, we promised to meet her.
Yeah. So you can go watch the stream to find out if we succeeded. It was an interesting story.
Yes.
And so this game, or this series of games, because now we have the Drifter, which is the Western game that we played. We have Stardrifter, which we're playing tonight. And there's also just another game out from Ken Kennedy called Adventurer, which is...
Yes, I saw that.
It's the third game in the series. It follows the same system as the 2 previous games. The whole Drifter series of games here, they are all based on another game, an earlier game. And that game is Barbarian Prince from 1981, which we also streamed. Some time ago.
I'm wondering, actually today I thought, when is our anniversary of Hopeless Dream? Our anniversary, of course, is come and gone. But I'm talking about the Hopeless Dream anniversary. When is that?
I think we've been streaming for about 1.5 years now.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly. And Barbarian Prince was one of the first streams that we did.
Yeah.
And it is one of these sort of choose your own adventure genre games where you have a map and you move between different points, and on each point you roll for events and random stuff happen and you die all the time. Sort of very brutal 1981 game.
It was amazing. It's amazing.
It's an amazing game, and it's also a game that had a kind of revival, and there is even a whole new fan-made version of it that has expanded it, added more detail, added more everything, and apparently also made you less likely to die in the game, which I'm not sure is a good idea.
You were, I mean, to be honest, you were very likely to die.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most difficult games, one of the most hopeless games that we've played.
We died 3 times in one stream.
Yes.
So it was a very difficult game. So there is now a smoother version. And I'm happy to see Barbarian Prince getting some recognition.
Yes.
Now, what most people don't know is that Barbarian Prince had a successor game in 1982.
I didn't know this.
Completely off the same system, but a different designer. And that game was called Star Smuggler.
Okay, Star Smuggler.
And I have actually printed out just here an image of the box cover of Star Smuggler for you. You can see here. And I'm not sure if you can read it, but it says, a complete programmed adventure for one player. So it's almost like a computer game, is how it presents itself. But it's really just Barbarian Prince in space.
Interesting.
And I guess one of the reasons that it didn't really take off was that it added all these additional rules for space combat and reactors, and the rules are kind of buried within the game. So you'll stumble upon a section, and that section will introduce a new rule, which is kind of great. And then you have the rules, so you don't have to learn everything up front. I like that approach. But then imagine...
Yeah, so the rules are self-contained in the prompts that you get.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have the basic rules at the beginning, but then you have like little special rules in the prompts that you get. The problem, of course, is then that when you then need to use a rule that was introduced to you like 1.5 hours ago, and you kind of can't remember which prompt the rule was in. It does make it a little bit difficult.
Two things before I want to hear more about the Star Smuggler, but I just want to pause it for one moment just to introduce Cage has entered the chat. Good day, KGK and KG Cage, and welcome.
So yeah, and it's great to have KJ Cage in the house, who is the designer of the game, the designer of Stardrifter. And I'm pretty sure that that Ken Kennedy, who designed the game, has also been looking at Star Smuggler, the follow-up game to Barbarian Prince. And I don't know, we have yet to actually try to play Star Smuggler, but I do believe it's something that might appear on this stream at some point. Especially now that we're doing Stardrifter, we should probably also go back at some point and play what I guess is sort of the spiritual predecessor of Stardrifter. The next game in the series, Adventurer, which of course is also something that we might end up playing. I mean, we have been here before, and we really like these games that are story prompt games where we get to move around more or less randomly, have things happen to us, and then try to string together a narrative out of the things that happen to us. That is pretty much our bread and butter on this stream. So I think that with games like these, Barbarian Prince, Star Smuggler, Stardrifter is sort of continuing a long-standing tradition of making these kind of games, and it can be difficult to find the ones that are very good to have on stream, because we need kind of games that have the right balance between mechanics and story, and some are very mechanically heavy, and then it becomes difficult, especially on stream, to have like a good narrative, and others are just so open-ended that you basically have to do all the work yourself, and that's also not really what we want. We kind of like this thing where we have a clear frame, a clear direction, and then we just jump right into it and we see what happens.
Yeah, we need to have some agency in order to have a little fun in between each other, and like have a little the sense that we also get to be part of the story. So it's not completely scripted everything.
Yeah. And I can see now here that KG Cage says that Star Smuggler certainly was an influence on Stardrifter. So
can we just see the cover again?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. See the cover. I can even show you a little bit more. This is the cover.
Amazing artwork.
Yeah, and very computer gamerish, right?
Yes.
It kind of looks like a computer game.
Looks like a shmup, as you call it. Shoot 'em up.
Okay. I can also show you something else.
And it was 82 or what? Yeah, nice.
Here, these are the counters in the game. So you can see the spaceships and Duke Springer. Duke Springer, he's the main character.
Not Jerry Springer, but Duke Springer.
Duke Springer. And he's a space mobile.
Okay.
So, and you can see it has kind of this pulpish vibe.
I love that.
And now I'm not sure about Stardrifter because we haven't played it yet. So I don't know exactly what the vibe is, but I think that, we should try to go for a pulpish vibe.
Yeah. Like 1950s futurism.
Yeah. Flash Gordon style.
Yes, for sure.
And this is also kind of what we put out, the little cards and stuff that has that whole theme. And what we're going to be playing as today is we decided that we're going to be playing as Alias.
Yes.
And Alias is we don't really know who she is, but she travels around in sort of a banged up spaceship called the Eclipse Demon.
Very cool, badass spaceship name.
Yeah. And since her name is Alias, that may just be because she changed her name so many times to get away from situations that in the end she didn't really bother, and she just,
left it blank, basically.
Yeah, basically just left it blank.
But you found a really cool image that sort of could be Alias, like the image of Alias almost.
Yeah. I have it down here, actually.
KG Cage says, I love the Star Smuggler's cover. There is an artist who is currently working on a new cover for Stardrifter. Breaking news. Ooh, you heard it here first, guys.
All
breaking
right.
news that I haven't shared with anyone yet. Well, guys, breaking news. KG Cage has now revealed all.
there will be a new cover for Stardrifter.
Yes.
I mean, that's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like this cover already.
Of course. I mean, space is beautiful.
Space is really beautiful, but I would love to see the new cover.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Of course, definitely, very cool.
So the cover image that inspired Alias,
Yes,
and her banged up starship is this cover. And now, if you can't necessarily understand what it says, I can reveal to you that is because it's in Danish. So this is Saga number 5. And it is from 1990. It was a role-playing magazine that came out in the late 80s, early 90s in Denmark. And this cover here is actually drawn by Jesper Eising, who later went on to draw a lot of stuff for Dungeons and Dragons books. I think he did the cover for the Monsters Manual for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons or something.
Yeah.
But this is where he started. This is probably Jesper Eising is 15 years old or something.
Very cool. He probably draw it in between classes in school or something.
Yeah, something like that. And it's the image for a role-playing game in this magazine, which is called Farlig Lest.
Dangerous cargo.
Dangerous cargo. Like Sorcerer or something,
Yeah,
where they're carrying the nitroglycerin.
Was it like a Sorcerer storyline?
Well, I honestly can't remember, and I didn't have time to read up on it today. It's a Space Master adventure by Jesper Eising and Merlin Mann. So 2 famous people from the Danish role-playing scene in the late 80s and up through the 90s.
Cool.
So yeah, there's a bit of that for you. So I thought that we should model our ship and our character on this image.
Absolutely. Love that picture. I was going to ask you guys where that was from. Yeah, so that was Jesper Eising.
Jesper Eising, 1990.
1990, that's great.
Saga magazine.
Yeah.
It was number 5. So yeah, it probably started in 89, and then it ran for a couple more years, and then it was overtaken by a new magazine called Phoenix.
I do think, correct me if I'm wrong, I do think that there's a website somewhere where you can go find scans of all these magazines.
Yeah. If you go to alexandria.dk, you'll be able to find scans of all these old Danish role-playing magazines.
Let me just see if I can.
Alexandria.dk.
Why is it Alexandria?
Well, I think it's the library of Alexandria that it alludes to, because it has all information on the Danish role-playing scene going back to the 80s and until today, actually. But yeah, you probably have to look around a bit in order to find it. But it should be there somewhere.
Saga.
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff.
So what you're not seeing on screen right now is the character sheets. We have a character sheet for Alias.
Yes.
And we also have a character sheet for her ship, the Eclipse Demon.
So both the ship and our physical character, they both have stats, different stats.
Yeah. And they have stats like health, mind, and the very important notoriety.
Notoriety, okay.
If we remember from the Drifter stream, we started out being not at all very notorious, and then things went really bad, and we became very notorious, and a lot of bad stuff started happening. We're gonna roll some basic stats just to form the character a little, but it's just minor stuff. So, and we're just gonna do this random according to the rules of the game. You can also sort of choose if you want to make it easier or harder on yourself. You can choose different levels.
Okay.
But I think we're just gonna roll dice.
Yeah.
And see where it goes.
See how it goes. Because we don't know what we're gonna encounter anyway.
No.
So why not just make it random and then we can go from there?
It absolutely doesn't matter. By the way, this thing that you're seeing here, this red little piece, that is the Eclipse Demon. That's what we're gonna be flying today. There you go. So should we see what how much mind power Alias has?
I suspect she has a lot of mind power.
Yeah, I would suspect it too. But she may be drained, because I think the thing about her is that we don't know a lot about her. I think the game today is also about discovering something about her past. So she could be. I mean, there's a reason that she has decided to set off on this big galactic adventure. Perhaps things have become a little too hot for her back at home, and she needs to, get away. Or perhaps she's just gotten tired of the same old routine, like the little dealers. And I mean, I'm sure she's also traveling at times with dangerous cargo or,
of course, yes,
smuggling stuff or whatever she's doing.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll have to find that out. So if you roll a 4-sided dice, we'll find out how much mind power she has.
4,
and
of course.
It's a 4. So
sparkling mind.
This is great. And now I'll set the tracker here to 4. So she has a very strong presence of mind. She knows what she's doing. She's very determined. She is ambitious.
Does it also count for like mentalism? Can she like force things with her mind? Is it a superpower, or is it just a bright mind?
I mean, I don't know. I'm open to the idea that she that she also has perhaps some kind of third eye ability.
Yes.
To read situations or project herself somehow.
Exactly.
I think that's cool. Now, she also has 2 destiny points, and destiny points is basically it can be a reroll of a die. Things go horrible, or for some weird reason things go too well, and we want to make it worse. We can use a destiny point. And we can also use it to do upgrades. So if we want to upgrade our weapon, or we want to repair our ship or something, we can use these destiny points to make our stuff better. Right now, we just have a ray gun, and the weapons here, or basically all equipment, have like 4 different states they can be in. And this ray gun is the lowest of the low.
Of course.
It's like starting on a Dungeons and Dragons adventure and having a dagger or something. It's the equivalent of that.
So we can only go into the basement and clear out the rats for the innkeeper at this point.
Yeah, I mean this is an advanced taser. I mean it's just this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just like there's a small current or something. It's not really a very good gun.
Okay.
But it can get the job done. But it's not something fancy. So we can upgrade that, or we can perhaps also just try to pick up better stuff. But we of course need to buy that. Now, the interesting thing that we're gonna throw the die for now is basically how notorious we are. So it's basically how well known are we in the galaxy, and well known in the bad way. How much are people out
notorious
to get us?
3.
It's a 3. So that's pretty notorious. Like, we are not just some innocent lamb that just, stole a packet of cigarettes down at the drugstore.
We stole a little bit more, probably.
We stole a little bit more. I mean, I'm even starting to wonder, perhaps we were just this, full-time thief, smuggler character, but at one point we did a job, and we thought it was just a job like any other old job. Just like, transport this cargo from A to B. We've done it a million times before. We get some money. It's all good. But maybe what we transported this time wasn't this innocent. Maybe someone was tracking us. Someone was showing a heightened interest in our cargo. And we kind of started to figure out that we were not just working for some local dealer, but that this was serious stuff of perhaps even galactic importance in our cargo.
Yeah, we stole something that was at such a level that it was being tracked, actively tracked.
Yeah,
and we didn't know.
We didn't know, but suddenly we get these people showing up at our door, and we have to make a daring escape out through the back room window, down the space elevator.
Yeah. And until we can sort of unload of this cargo, because I don't know if we have realized yet that the tracker is in the cargo, but until we can unload the cargo, we're basically still actively being tracked.
Yeah, I like that idea. So basically, we know that the tracker is in the cargo, but Alias, she only knows that these people have been following her.
Ever since she got a shipment of esoteric artwork
Yeah.
from a certain galaxy.
Yeah.
there has been people showing up at her door, and whenever she takes a break, whenever she arrives at a local space cafe to drink to drink her sorrows away, there always seems to be people following her.
Yeah. There's always someone with a weird cutout in the newspaper eyeing her.
Exactly. Exactly. So she has been wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah. And there's also this guy who's been leaving a card with a number on it. And she still hasn't called this number because, yeah, she's not cool with it.
No.
And, so she just know that these people are following her. They're somehow trying to get her talk. And they've been spying on her. She's been going around her daily business. And one day they're outside the door and she can see them reaching for something more than a ray gun in their pockets. And they're ready to batter down this door. And
so she has to make an escape, of course. And well, let's see. I think
she's more notorious than she thinks. I think she doesn't know that she has notoriety 3 in this game.
No.
She thinks she's just like a small time.
Yeah, because she's only recently begun to make waves.
Yeah,
and it's not caught up to her herself. That she's actually started to grow a little bit of notoriety.
But that is also why she's the perfect mule, right? Because she doesn't really do anything too fancy. She just do these small-time jobs.
But also that was how she got the job to begin with. Usually she has to chase down jobs and, call around the whole galaxy to find the next job. But this job found her.
It was so easy.
Yeah.
And they were paying pretty well.
Yeah.
It wasn't insane, but for what she was doing, she was like, nobody pays that much just to have their weird esoteric artwork transported. I know art can be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this art?
Yeah. Why?
It looked kind of, I'm not sure that she's big on the art scene or anything, but it wasn't anything that sort of jumped out at her. It wasn't any name that she recognized.
No.
These artworks, they don't appear at intergalactic galleries anywhere.
No, she hadn't. Nothing she's ever seen before.
No.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know what that is.
She's being followed, actively followed.
So that's her notoriety anyway. Now we also have to find out how much cash she has, and the money here they're called lucre. Lucre. Oh yeah, lucrative. That's of course. I didn't make that connection in my mind. Great. Now I can remember it. Lucre.
Lucre.
And let me just check how much lucre that we're gonna start the game with. So we will have to. We'll have to roll on a table. So this is a game of the occasional table.
The occasional table.
The more than occasional table.
Table heavy.
Yes, it's actually not too table heavy, I think. But it's a game of rolling on tables.
Yeah.
But when you compare with Barbarian Prince or Star Smuggler, this is easy breezy to anyone out there who's like
Barbarian Prince is pretty heavy on the tables.
Yeah, and it's just also heavy on rules and details, and you have how much can you carry and all these things.
Yeah.
And I think that anyone interested in these types of games would do well to start here. If you're interested in Barbarian Prince, but you're not sort of comfortable with taking on a whole lot of nitty-gritty rules, the Drifter series is an easier way to start.
Definitely. And also, you're going to last longer. I don't know about Stardrifter, of course. We haven't played it yet. But in the original Drifter, you definitely last a lot longer than you do in Barbarian Prince.
We played for 4 or 5 hours without ever...
No, we did actually.
We did die once. We did die once.
Yeah.
And then our brother...
avenged us.
Yeah, that's how it went. Let's see. I'm not sure if Aliens has a brother. So you would... Can I ask you to roll here a D10? I don't know if people can you roll where people can see it without knocking everything over?
Here?
Yeah, I think that's fine. That's a D10. So, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It was a 10. Wow.
Pretty good.
This is pretty exciting. We may have just rolled some of the cargo because what happens now, we're rolling on the lowest table because we're just, we're just starting out. But we are actually discovering something more. We already now have to look in the book.
We've reached the book level of this game already.
Oh, wow. So this is an exciting start. Let me see how this works. So yeah, so this is basically just to show you guys. This is just a book of entries, and you get prompts saying go to event number this and that. You look it up in the book. You follow the text. So you don't need to do any prep work. You don't need to read this book to play the game. You need to read 5 pages and then you can play the game.
So you just look up whenever you encounter something.
Yeah. Okay. So we found some kind of commodity. You have to roll another 10-sided die. There's a lot of die rolling in this game.
But I may knock stuff over.
That's
here.
okay because they actually are just there for decoration.
Oh, nice. 8.
Okay, so I have to now turn to another page in the book. And what have we found? What have we found? Oh, wow. We have found a medical mist.
Wow.
The medical mist is used to heal characters. So we're going to record this. It's a spray. It's a kind of spray that you just spray on the wound.
Yeah.
And it sort of magically heals it.
Awesome.
And it's an action that you can do. So I'm just going to write it down on our sheet.
So is that a piece of inventory that we now have?
Yeah, that we can use. So we're basically going to write it down, and we're going to write which number in the book it maps to. So whenever we use it, we can go to that page in the book and
great.
and we see what happens.
Great.
So I'm just going to get a pen because that's the one thing that I forgot.
All right. So yeah, of course we need a pen to note down all our adventures here. KGK says, yes, the Drifter series is very streamlined versions of those games. No strategy, really. They are the furthest thing from chess, for sure. Yeah, but that's what I like about it, that it's not about being strategic and doing all the right moves. It is about going on an adventure and just seeing what props up and dealing with it accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeten says, a healer spray. Love it. So future. It's extremely future. It is future.
Yeah, and that is pretty much it. Then we have the Eclipse Demon, which is in good shape. The hull is still intact. It also got these it got these cannons on it, but they're not like real good cannons. They're like
more for show.
Yeah, they're kind of the cheapest kind of cannons you can get. But then we haven't been making a lot of money. I mean, I think the most money that we made recently, that's the money that we got from this art delivery that we did. But unfortunately, all those money are left back in our apartment.
Did we already make the delivery, or did we? Because maybe we got paid half in upfront and then half on delivery.
I think the cargo is still in our spaceship.
Yeah. So we're in the process of delivering these goods.
Yeah, but we also need to find out, because perhaps the story, are we delivering them, or was someone supposed to come to us and then pick them up, so we actually don't know where to deliver them right now?
Maybe we're waiting for the drop-off point.
We're waiting for someone to give us a drop-off point.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So until then, we just have to keep it in our hold and keep it safe.
But we're also kind of an opportunistic kind of character, I think. So we're also seeing here, this might be our break.
Mm.
If this works out, if this cargo, if they're willing to pay that much, I mean, yeah, somebody's on our tail. It may be connected, we don't even know.
Yeah.
But we're willing to take that chance, and we're willing to write it out and get rid of this art. And maybe there's even more money to be had, because are we really satisfied with what they promised now that we're being chased down by,
Yeah, this was not what we signed up for.
No, not at all. I mean,
we've been hustled here.
This was just to be a quiet delivery, but it's not.
Yeah.
So we have sort of established the situation, and we are fleeing out of the apartment. We have to find out where in space we actually are.
Okay.
And in order to do that, I need you to roll another 10-sided die, which will give us a coordinate. It's
5.
a 5. So we are in space 12-3. All right, so we are positioned right here, 1203. And what we can see here, up here, this white circle that you see, that means that that's a colonized planet. And there's another colonized planet here, another colonized planet there. So those are the only points that we have in space right now. We can get more points that ideas of where other stuff are that we can discover along the way. But right now, that's the only thing that we know. And
so we haven't discovered anything else, basically. This is what we can see on the radar or so.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's a colonized planet there, and we are probably just living on some weird little satellite or some mining station or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're living in this little sort of maybe like a small gambling way station.
Yeah.
Where you can get a burger and some fuel,
it's like an
rocket
extended
fuel
truck stop.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a diner. It's a fancy diner.
There's a jukebox and a few rooms upstairs, and
you can
it's like a strip mall just floating in space.
Yeah, basically. Where people go to eat and get rocket fuel and gamble.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, since we don't have anywhere else that we know where to go, maybe just a good first direction would be to say, let's try to reach that colonized planet. It's a bigger place. This would be a place where we might be able to get information on our cargo.
And maybe an easier place to hide.
Also an easier place to hide, yeah. That's the thing. We need to make it in one piece to that place.
For sure. KG says it's the diner from Spaceballs. Exactly.
And we just escaped it. So your ship's panels begin to whirl and flash in a series of colored lights as you fire up its thrusters to seek your destiny amidst the stars.
Nice.
Now we can choose an action. And actions are basically to move and have an encounter, or to do something like use an item or heal or repair our ship or upgrade our weapons and all that. But I think right now what we need to do is move. Now, with the way we move is we move one space and we check for events. We can also upgrade our thrusters at some point, which means that we can move further, that we can move up to we roll a 4-sided die to see how many spaces we can move. So we can speed up later.
You know what? Do you remember, sorry for going on a bit of a tangent, do you remember Elite? The old Amiga
space trading game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which was an insane game by any standard, basically back then. It was huge. You basically had what felt like unlimited places to visit.
Yeah.
And you were basically this privateer, another game in the same genre, but you were a privateer, just like a space pirate, basically.
Yeah.
Buying goods from one place and selling them off somewhere else. And you could upgrade your ships, you could buy new ships, you could buy better shields and better cannons and so on.
And it had this wonderful vector graphics.
Yeah, it was great. It was so nice. It was so futuristic.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember playing it on an old Amstrad back in the day.
And you could even have a game like that on the Amstrad. I think even Commodore 64. Am I wrong here? But very limited computer systems could run this game.
Yeah.
And it was just insane.
Was this the game, perhaps, that was the inspiration for EVE Online?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And EVE Online, of course, is the sort of the culmination of this genre, I guess, where it becomes almost like a pseudo life.
Yeah.
You could have a life inside a game almost, with factions and money and a job.
Yeah, and I think this is pretty much also Stardrifter here, that we are just a drift in space and we have a cargo full of weird occult art and we have someone on our tail and we have this shitty little Eclipse Demon ship, which I think the name compensates for how shitty the ship is, right?
Yeah.
We call it the Eclipse Demon because it sounds really cool, but it's really a shitty little StarCraft.
Yeah. We came up with the name when we were really drunk.
Yeah.
Trying to impress some potential customers.
Don't worry, your cargo will be safe in the Eclipse Demon.
Exactly. God forbid they ever saw it.
So, should we go flying?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. We need to... Oh, I can see we need to roll D100s here. So you won't be seeing a D100, but you will see a percentage die.
Okay.
So we have one die that rolls the 10s and another that rolls the 1s. So you can basically just roll there.
50, 65?
65. So we're going to move. Are we just going to move towards the planet?
Sure, yeah.
So we're just going to move. And you can see, guys, how huge this map is. And we're moving now like this. Doot. That's one
Is
move.
that it?
That's it. That's how far we got.
Oh my God. The ED, as we like to call it, the ED. Not to be confused with erectile dysfunction, but the Eclipse Demon has now moved, a puny one tile.
It is a puny ship in a very vast space.
Goddamn ED.
Yeah, don't use that abbreviation, Don't use it.
Eclipse Demon is a pretty good name. What country are you from? I don't mean the character. Similar to Barbarian Prince tempo. That's true. Exactly the same tempo, which is not fast.
No, it is not fast.
But we are from Denmark, so we're sitting in like a crypt in Denmark right now.
Yes.
Underneath
Hamlet's castle.
Yeah, basically, yes.
We're
and so this is the old prison dungeon that we've now refurbished.
So since we are notorious, events are gonna be more difficult for us.
Damn it. I knew it.
Potentially, anyway. Let's see. It's 244.
Classic Danish crypt, indeed.
Yes. 244. What's happening in space? It's kind of weird, right? Because we're just in a space in space. There's no terrain here. So
no.
It's just...
But that could be like a meteor storm or, some weird wormholes or who knows.
Restricted airspace. So we are doing some long-range scanning because we're trying to find out if anyone's in pursuit. And we're picking up a sector authority vessel on our current trajectory.
Sector authority vessel.
So that's kind of the equivalent of the cops.
And also, we're not a huge fan of the cops, usually. We try to stay clear.
We try to stay clear, and now we're even more skeptical because the people who've been following us, they don't look like the people who usually follow us, because those are like big guys with tattoos and weird piercings. But these are kind of guys in suits with dark glasses and slick hair.
Yes.
There's a completely different...
Ominous. And the people who are following us, they're not flying battleships or any tactical ships. They're flying these slick, fast ships that you don't really. They cloak really well. They often disappear off the radar in a glimpse.
Yeah, they have these black windows.
Yes, tinted spaceships, basically. So you don't always, so sometimes they just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Or you just see them out the corner of your radar.
But I think right now we're just seeing this blip on our screen, and it's just identified as an sector authority vessel. So they're probably patrolling this sector of space that we're in.
Yeah.
And we can either we can continue on our course and approach the vessel, or we can try to evade it.
I would suggest that we try to evade it, just like we always do.
Yeah, and we are fleeing anyway. We don't have time, even if it's just a routine check.
And also, we could also go to the police, of course, and say, if it is the police, we don't even know.
We have no idea.
But we could go to them and say, hey, we're being followed. But then we would have to explain the mysterious cargo that we're hauling, which I don't think is a good idea either.
Nah, I don't believe in it. I think we have to evade.
Yeah, we gotta evade.
And now the question, of course, is the Eclipse Demon really, equipped for evading?
It's not equipped to do much. It's equipped to, we don't even have a coffee maker installed.
All right.
So it's going really slow, but if we just stay clear out of their radar, if we cool down our engines, ride a little slower, maybe they won't see us, on their heat-seeking equipment.
You know what we do? We just jam the control stick in a random direction. So you just roll a d6 to see which sector we fly into instead.
Yes. No, but I think we turn off the engines and we're just adrift.
Ooh, so it's the star winds, the cosmic winds
the
that
cosmic
will be carrying
winds,
us.
yes.
So roll the direction in which the cosmic winds are blowing.
5.
They are blowing in direction 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. We are exactly back where we started.
So it's a cosmic headwind.
We are looping back
Yes.
to where we were.
Tactically looping back.
Is this a good idea?
I don't know.
You have to roll another D. One thing I forgot, and that we forgot, and I'm gonna here in medias res, we're gonna have a cutscene back to
How exciting.
Earlier in the day when we are fueling our airship.
Yeah, a flashback.
Yes. So we need to roll how much fuel we put on, how much money did we, or how much money did we really have to buy fuel for? So roll how much fuel we pumped into the ship.
3 is not a lot, is it?
3, and then we add 10, so it's 13. So we have 13 fuel cells,
Okay, good.
which means we can move 13 times, and then we're adrift.
So, and then we adrift. Yeah, and then you mean that once we've done 13 moves, we have to either get new fuel or we are...
Or we have to go to the drift event, which I imagine is not...
Cannot be good.
It cannot be good. So we just expended 1 fuel cell by going that one space, and now we're circling back. So it's really sort of a waste of a...
Move, basically.
Basically a waste. And it may even be worse, because now you have to roll again and see, do they actually catch up with us, or what happens?
1?
On a 1, we are experience a fuel degeneration. I think this sudden change of direction caused like a mess up, and we can just see like you just demonstrated before when you turned over that glass and spilled everything on the table. That's what we see outside the windows. We're seeing fuel forming.
Yes. I think we turned off the motor, but we didn't turn off the fuel injection. So the fuel is just spewing out and just covering the whole side of the ship.
And it's also kind of, not making us less visible in space.
No.
There's this blob of fuel that's now following us.
Just a huge spray of foul-smelling fuel.
So you have to basically throw a 4-sided dice to see how many fuel cells are floating out of our spaceship.
Oh no, a 3.
Okay, so we're now down to 9 fuel cells.
Damn it.
And I have more bad news for you, because everyone knows that pollution and polluting space, that is not okay.
No.
So our notoriety just went up 1 level.
Really?
It was probably not because of the pollution. I think it's because we just escaped authority.
So that they had okay, this for future reference, they noted down our license plate.
Yeah. So we are now on 4 out of 4 notoriety. We are seriously wanted.
Damn it.
So we're going to probably be encountering a lot more of these authority vessels.
Damn it.
I don't know how we're even going to make it to this colonized planet.
Where else do we go?
It's the only place to go. I mean, we can try to disappear off the map or something,
Where else
but
do we go?
I think we just have to we just have to try to make it.
Yeah.
Towards that planet. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah. Perhaps we should try to move to a different sector, so we'd make a different trajectory.
Yeah, that could be
towards the
could
planet.
be a good thing.
We could plot our course going up north instead of northeast like we did before.
How do you see if there is anything there?
We don't.
We don't know.
No, but we know if we get to the colonized planet, then we will have to check to see what is on the planet. There'll be more options. There'll be more bars. There'll be...
So if we don't go after the white spots,
Yeah.
what can we then encounter?
Well,
Anything.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just know that, we may maybe we encounter a random planet that we cannot see right now.
Yeah.
And that we're then able to descend on. Or maybe we get a clue that over here something is happening. Or so I think the map is going to be populated basically by as we journey. I mean, we are completely, in a sense, adrift in space. Everything is random.
Yeah.
But we need to find some kind of markers so we can start to make a trajectory that makes sense for us.
Sure.
But right now, I have a feeling that authority ship was perhaps called in by the people who was at our door at our apartment.
So they're closing in. So we need to make an escape, basically.
Yeah, but we are in their system, and I think they're probably this. They have put out an Interpol kind of, space-wide alert looking for our ship. So we need to have a paint job or something.
Or buy a new ship.
Or buy a new ship, but we can only do that, I think, at the colonized planet.
Damn it. Okay, but maybe we should go...
There's also the thing we have no money.
We have no money, so we need to get rid of our cargo.
we need to just
sell it.
sell.
Yeah.
Because I think we have to try to get to that planet.
Okay, if we have to go there, then maybe we go north.
I think we should give it a try.
Yeah.
So again, guys, we're spending a fuel cell. We're going here. We're down to 8 fuel cells.
Why are we so slow?
Because we need to work on our thrusters.
So if we make it there in record time, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 fuel cells that it will take us.
Okay, before we do this, let me just come up with another suggestion.
Okay.
So another suggestion could be that we're losing fuel, and we could try to upgrade our thrusters. We could try to do some kind of hack job, because we know sort of how to, I don't know what you exactly do with these thrusters, but we can, I don't know.
Nitro injection.
Something like that. We drill something into them and do an extra, expand the injection hole or something like that so we can go faster.
Yeah.
So maybe we have 2 destiny points, and that's going to cost.
But this is a huge risk.
Maybe.
Because we're in the middle of outer space. We're quite far from that way station there.
Yeah.
So if anything goes wrong, trying to repair or build some extra thrusters, we're just going to be sitting ducks.
And it's going to cost us both of our destiny points. I just checked. So is it too soon?
It's too soon.
Okay, it's too soon. But let's just say that this is a contingency plan that we might.
Yeah, no, for sure. But let's do it once we're in safe harbor.
All right. So.
Also, Tatsivitra says space is really, really big.
Yes, Tatsivitra, you're absolutely
true.
right. We are only discovering that right now. We thought space was kind of small and navigable, but it's not.
Cozy, even.
So we are down to 8 fuel cells, adrift in the universe. And again, if you will make a D100 roll, and we'll see. And now we're rolling events on the worst table, the most notorious table.
160?
Oh, just 6. 0,
just
6.
6. Okay, yeah.
So that's 34. Let's see what happens. Now we're trying to skirt around the sector where the authorities' ships are. And we're doing another long-range scan. And this time, it seems that there is a massive asteroid field in our current trajectory.
Okay.
This is not good because we're in a small ship.
It's already.
It may actually be good that we're in a small ship if we're very good at navigating the ship.
Well, the thing is that the one side of the ship is covered in rocket fuel. so any sparks or anything like that would be a huge catastrophe.
Yeah. So let's see if we can navigate this thing. So we have 2 choices. We can try to navigate through the field, or we can try to avoid it.
Do we have any specs about how good we are at navigation, or how the ship is at navigation?
I mean, our ship has the lowest level of mobility. There are 4 levels of mobility.
I don't know what evading it would also require mobility.
No, I actually think we have the best level of mobility because we are undamaged, if I understand it correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So maybe we try to avoid it.
Not navigate through?
No, navigate through or avoid. That's what you mean. Okay, yeah. Both require mobility. Navigate through is an adventurous move.
But perhaps navigating through it is the only way to get rid of our pursuers.
That is a great point. Because then we're going to be hidden inside the asteroid field.
Because the authority ship is just going to wait outside.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe they're even going to think, that we're dead meat.
Yeah, for sure. That
nobody can enter that field and get out alive.
No. We have to navigate it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just thrusters full on straight into this asteroid field, just throwing the, joystick, steering wheel, whatever it is that's in this weird spaceship, left and right to make our way through it.
And so Tatsivitra says the worst table. Was it the worst table that we got?
It means that we have a notoriety level of 4, which is the most notorious that you can be.
Yes, that's okay. So that's why you look at the worst table.
Yeah, so the bad stuff is happening. because, it seems even the cosmos is out to get us. No, but I think this asteroid field may be a heaven sent, because if we navigate through it, I'm sure that we're gonna, cast off our pursuers. So we're going straight into the field, and I'm sure there's gonna be some dice rolling. So our ship's proximity warnings, they just beep and blink. The whole ship is just like lighting up in red and making these horrible beeping sounds that's piercing our ears. We are in the middle of an asteroid field. You have to roll a d6 and we'll see what happens. It's a 1.
Oh no.
We have to test the mobility of our ship.
Okay.
So we are gonna look at a specific table, and then we are gonna look at our mobility. We have easy, so we're at top mobility. It's a small ship, it's very mobile. And then we have to roll our prowess -4. And our prowess right now, because we are all good to go and nothing bad has happened, is 4. So you roll an unmodified d10.
Ah, okay.
And we'll
Unmodified d10.
Yes.
Okay. Loving the music. Thank you, Cage. Specially selected for this night of adventure. Oi, a 9.
It's a 9. It's a pass.
Mon Dieu.
We are navigating through the asteroid field.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
This is excellent. So we maneuver through a cluster of meteors. We're like throwing the ship left and right, and there's these meteors that just you can see sparks lighting as they just kind of strike the outer edge of our spaceship as we navigate through it. And we're all looking at this big blob of fuel behind us, hoping that this spark doesn't ignite it.
Yeah.
So you roll a d6.
1.
It's a 1.
I'm always so scared about these ones.
1s equal roll result 2. I'm not even sure what this means. You maneuver through a cluster of meteors. Roll a d6. We roll a 1.
Yes.
Then it says roll result 2. Oh, okay, we have to continue to the result 2 on this here.
That makes sense.
Oh, we're going through more meteors.
That makes sense.
It's a dramatic series of events. Okay, so we have to do another mobility test. This time with a +1.
Okay, so +1 at least.
So more meteors are coming at
But
us. We thought we were home free, but then a whole new cloud.
But a dice
A die 10.
Die 10.
+1.
Okay, great.
11. That
11.
must be a tremendous. It's an absolute pass. So we maneuver through another cluster of meteors. Roll a d4.
4 now.
This is getting intense.
3.
It's a 3. Roll result 5. So now we're down at 5. I think we have to get through 6 results, and now we're down at 5.
Okay,
we just jumped.
Jesus Christ, this is intense.
And there's more coming at us. This time we have a d10 +2.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. It's a 5. It's a pass, and we get a destiny point. We make an outrageous maneuver.
Nice.
We somehow, I think, just slide between 2 meteors coming at us, and we just like swoop over one and under the other and come out on the other side. Heroically.
Dramatically.
Sparks flying.
Yes, I love it.
And the meteors that came through, they basically pick up a big fuel blob and are just covered. And the spark ignites, and so we just see this flaming meteor in our back mirror.
And it sort of pushes us out of the asteroid field.
As we fly off. And we get a destiny point. We now have 3 destiny points.
Was it asteroids or meteors?
It's meteors.
Oh, okay.
I think it's an asteroid built with meteors,
okay.
however you want to frame it.
I don't know the difference, so.
This is excellent. So we're almost there. We maneuver through the meteors. We get fuel regeneration. So somehow our acceleration through this meteor field has helped us conserve some fuel.
Some
perhaps.
sort of inertia has caused us to save fuel.
Yeah, because we were perhaps in, what do you call when you put a drive in or a car, in the not in drive mode, but like
in neutral.
In neutral, we were in neutral as we were
Exactly.
navigating through this field. So we get a
And we
fuel
were
cell.
on the slipstream of several meteors. So we didn't have, so they were sort of giving us energy
Yeah.
to move forward.
This is great. So we get a fuel cell, and we can even move an additional space.
Great. Perfect.
So we can.
So let's go north.
Let's go straight north. So we are getting closer to the planet. This was a success. I think this shows that we are a really competent space navigator.
What we don't have in equipment, we make up for in pure piloting skills.
Yeah. Yeah, this was
So Alias, she's pretty sharp on the controls here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we may want to go check the cargo bay, whether we secured those artworks.
See if half of the ship is missing or anything like that.
Yeah, or the artworks that we're supposed to deliver, whether they're still in their frames or...
Yeah, exactly. Just jumbled around back there. We did hear some large bangs and things shuffling around, but...
Oh, this was epic. This was a great way to get rid of the fuel blob.
Yeah. Rollmaster in space, Tatsuvidra says.
Yeah.
Do you know Rollmaster?
Yeah. This is also like an 80s RPG.
Ah, okay.
And
Space Master.
Space Master.
Sounds cool.
It's one of those games that were, infamous for having tables for everything.
Yeah.
So
okay,
you were just constantly rolling dice, and it was like every time you tried to light a torch, you have to throw a die for, where you threw the matchstick and whether something caught fire at the side of the road and whether you died of smoke inhalation. And
did you forget to breathe?
Yeah, basically. Oh, you want to breathe again? Can you please just do a...
And let's look up at the blinking, chart.
Yeah. So let's fire up those thrusters and move ever closer.
Yes.
So we're going to expend another fuel cell. So we're now down to 8 fuel cells again. And we're going to move over here. So there we are.
But do we then roll an event now?
Yeah, we do.
So each of these fields is an event.
And unfortunately, we're rolling on the very, very notorious table.
Because we have 4 out of 4 in notoriety.
Exactly. That's where we're at. So we need to go to that planet and lay low for a bit, I think.
Yeah. So let's get there fast, and let's hope this isn't too dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, if you could just roll a non-event, for example.
So what do I roll?
A D100.
So it's one of these and one of these. 33?
33. Okay. So it's 183. Let's see what happens. Okay. We are picking up a weak distress signal.
Do we have time for this? Do we have time to help out other drifters? There could be money involved.
There could be money involved. Could there be ways to lower our notoriety?
Well, what if we help someone that could sort of spread the good news about our endeavors?
We could be lucky. Maybe it's the local mayor's daughter who was lost in space on a Sunday picnic trip.
But why do I have the feeling that it's someone with guns?
Well, it's because I think you're just projecting yourself into the person in distress. I think it's just, I mean, so there is this interference, so we'll need to... okay, so the signal is so weak that we have to quickly move out of this hex in order to fully receive the signal, if we want to know exactly what it is. So we roll a d6 to determine which adjacent hex we need to move to for the distress signal. So we roll a die to see where is it coming from.
So it's a d6?
Yeah. So 1 is north, and then we go clockwise.
6.
So it's north and then clockwise, so we're up at, what is that? Northwest, right?
Northwest, yeah.
So I'm just going to put a distress signal there, because we, of course, have distress signal markers. So here's a distress signal for you guys. Okay.
Nice.
So there is the signal.
But that's in the wrong direction.
It's kind of in the wrong direction. So what we can do here is we can move to this hex in order to get the clear signal, or we can ignore it.
Okay.
If we move to the hex, in order to receive the transmission, we can just do that without expending fuel. Or we can just ignore it and proceed on our path. So what's the situation here?
If we go there, so we don't expend fuel if we go there.
No.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is that if we go there, we're gonna be the same. We're gonna be in the same distance, right? No, we're not.
Gonna be further. I mean, this is an ethical choice.
Yeah.
We're in a spaceship. We're picking up a distress signal.
Sure.
This is not something we planned for. But then again, aren't we also someone who lives by, chance to some extent?
We are a rider on fate.
And I mean, we have no idea that the planet that we're heading towards is really going to be any help to us, right?
No, that's true.
We just have this idea that we can hide there because there's a lot of people.
We don't know if it's much better. Also, Jeden suggests be the space hero.
Yeah.
Well, that's of course encouragement.
I mean, we have of course heard stories about people sending out distress signals even though they weren't in distress.
That's the oldest trick in the book. That's of course the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
But once in a while, there is an actual distress going on. Or there are actually people in distress.
Yeah.
So
I kind of, I think we need also to do something to...
Jeden has a great point here. You need partners.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We need someone to speak for us. We need a diplomat. We need an ambassador, basically. Someone who can tell, also because we're kind of innocent. We're just transporting stuff. We're transporting goods. We have no idea that we're doing anything illegal. I mean, we kind of know that sometimes we're transporting illegal stuff, or especially when we get those jobs where we're not allowed to look in the cargo.
Skirting the law.
Yeah.
But that's actually interesting. If we could team up with someone.
Yeah.
Someone who could help us, or we could have a wingman,
Yeah.
Someone to fight alongside us, to protect us.
I love that.
We need to go there, I guess.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're going.
I guess it's not really, what you want to hear from a hero.
Yeah.
I guess, okay, whatever.
No, well, I think we're also just being a little bit opportunistic and seeing here's a moment that we may be able to shine.
Yeah.
And we kind of need that.
We need some.
Or just someone who can give us shelter or help us out.
Yeah.
Or perhaps they have a big, nice ship that we can take over. I mean,
ever the opportunist.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna move into the hex where the transmission is coming from. So now we have picked up the full distress signal. So we roll a d6, find out what the situation is. It's a 6. So we're trying to pinpoint the signal. So we need to apply our mind to this task. So we are
deep focus.
Sitting there looking at our navigational screen.
Deep cosmic focus.
Where is it coming from? We're trying to track it. We are typing fast in our ship's computer. And we have to roll mind -2. We have 4. So that is a 2. And so it's a d10 plus 2 that we have to roll.
D10 plus 2.
Yes.
A 9.
Okay, plus 2. Well, that's an instant pass.
Aha.
Excellent. So
Space fortune.
Now we have to find out. So we're basically picking up. We're picking up the signal, and right now we're tracing it. But we need some time in order to trace it. So while that time goes by, you roll a d4, and we're trying to get closer to the signal. So
yeah. So we go further on the path of discovering the signal. Yeah. Okay. A 2?
A 2. Do we find it? Oh, I think we picked something up.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yes, we're zeroing on the coordinates of the distress signal.
Nice. There you go.
And now let's find out what they're saying. Roll a d10. So now we're finally picking up, or it's perhaps a Morse code, or whether it's a message someone just
could also
sent
be
out.
like a message in a bottle, something that's just sitting there waiting for strangers to come by.
Maybe.
1.
Oh, this always sounds ominous, doesn't it?
But do you have a feeling if 1 is better than 9,
or
is it
no
random?
idea.
No, okay.
I have no idea. It may be completely random. So the signal is coming from a ship. So we're detecting a ship.
Yeah.
And we need to find out where that ship is located. So we need to roll a d6 to find the direction.
Morse code, 19th century space exploration.
Yes, we're very much in the 19th century.
Maybe an old signal lost in space, finally reaching someone. Yeah. So it's been there for centuries.
Yes.
And maybe we find like the Voyager, where it's just like a vinyl disc with Dizzy Gillespie or something.
Right now, right now we know there's a ship floating in space and it's sending out a distress signal.
Yeah.
It sounds like the beginning of many movies that I've seen that rarely end well.
So another one.
It's a one. It's to the north. So
do we move north automatically? Or do we? When do we expend fuel? By the way.
Well, I don't know. I think we're gonna roll here.
Okay.
So the signal is right there. No, I mean, it's almost as if it's luring us away from the colonized planet, like a siren song.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on here, but
You're
I'm
right.
not so.
Because wait a minute, we started off being 3 hexes away from the planet. Now we are 4 hexes away.
Yeah.
If we pursue this, we're gonna be.
Still 4 hexes.
Still 4 hexes.
But still, it feels like it's taken us.
I don't like it one bit.
I don't like it either. Okay.
The wild
my
goose chase.
goodness. This is not where it is. This is the direction in which it is. It is 1d10 plus 2 hexes away.
Oh, come on.
So
That's you know, if you're asking for help, you got to be close. Don't be, 10
I mean, this is a
miles out.
serious distress signal that can travel that far.
6 plus 2?
That's 8.
Oh, it's 8.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's on the space turtle.
Ooh.
It's up there. Oh my goodness, it's past the space turtle.
That's far out. We don't even have fuel enough to go there.
Certainly not to return. So we're basically the distress signal. If we go there, we have to go to a specific event number, which is, did I see, 32. Okay.
Oh.
So we can do this anytime we want. I think I like the idea of being a space hero and picking up a partner, but this is very far away.
Next time you're looking for help, you got to be in the area. Got to be in the same area code.
I mean, it's 8 spaces away and we have 8 fuel cells left.
Oh, so we have to go there on the assumption that we get fuel out of this endeavor?
That
Otherwise,
whatever ship is sending out the signal is actually can fly and we can take it over.
Also, who are we saving if we just go there and then we just 2 space hulks drifting,
Yeah, it's basically like, trying to save one from drowning when you cannot swim yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Yeah, we're just going to be pulled down.
Jeden agrees. Maybe you can be the hero another good day. Yeah. We'll try again another day.
Well, I mean, if we get our thrusters up so we can travel faster through
that's
space,
what we need to do.
Then we can go there.
Because we are an opportunist. We can actually. And we also, if we had good enough cannons, that we're not so scared of going into these interactions here.
But I'm just saying, like, at some point, we need to fix those thrusters. But it would be nice to find sort of a good mechanic, perhaps down on the planet.
Yeah.
The only problem is, of course, we don't have cash.
We're not going to get far in this world without cash. We're for certain. Well, first of all, we're not going to be able to buy fuel. That's the main concern that I have.
Yeah, so we're going to land on this colonized planet.
Yeah, and then
we're
what?
not going to be able to buy any fuel.
Then we can just walk around and say, hey, guys.
But then perhaps someone has an odd job, like some kind of cargo drop.
Yeah,
because that went so well last time.
Exactly. All right, we gotta get to the planet and see what our options are.
All right. So we're spending another fuel cell. We're now down to 7.
Yeah.
And we're moving closer to the planet. But yeah, I mean, I'm constantly going on about these thrusters because what I'm thinking is that if we have the thrusters upgraded every time we spend a fuel point, we can travel multiple spaces. So we'll be much more mobile.
But I agree with you. But shouldn't we?
I think we should wait until we get to the planet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our immediate future is, of course, get rid of our cargo somehow, or find out whatever is going on around the cargo, and it is upgrade thrusters,
Find out if we can monetize that cargo.
get more money,
Yes,
buy fuel.
yes.
Those are our
Get the
priorities.
hell
right?
out of here.
Get the hell out of here. Those are our priorities right now.
Yes. So we need another D100 to see what happens on a continued way to this colonized planet.
68.
68. Okay. 119. There is a proximity alert. Our scanners are beeping and flashing. Something is in our vicinity, and we're kind of looking out for it, but we cannot see anything. But something is there, whatever it is. Or perhaps it's just some kind of freak false alert.
Warning, warning, warning.
Yeah. But we cannot detect anything. So we need to roll a d6 to see what happens.
5.
And it's a 5. Okay. What is going on? Is this a false alert or is something actually happening? There is a nearby vessel. Suddenly out of the blue, a ship just appears. And I swear, it wasn't there before, but now it's here.
Is it one of our pursuers that we have been noticing that these ships pop in and out from time to time?
Are these some kind of stealth?
They have some sort of
ships?
stealth ability, but the thing is, I thought we lost them at the asteroid field. We shook them off.
But maybe we didn't.
Maybe not.
I mean, there's also this thing that some ships in this world, we've heard about it, but we never encountered it, have warp drives, which allows them to just basically jump in and out of any sector.
Yeah, and they have a huge reach.
But if someone is here with a warp drive, it means they're loaded. Those are not just your average Joes that have warp drives.
But they also have guns, probably, to defend themselves, if not to attack.
Yeah. But I mean, we're such an ant in this big universe that what can we even do?
Unless if it's specifically someone who is chasing us down, I'm not too worried, because why would they just go after our rusty old scrap heap of a space Hulk?
Yeah. I mean, we don't even know it's got to do with anything. Could also just be someone who just happened to be popping out of space right next to our ship.
Which is not very likely, but okay.
We gotta roll a d10 and see what happens. Ooh,
0.
It's a 10.
Or it's a 10, sorry, 10.
Okay. So, whoa.
The tinted glass ship, yes, exactly.
Yes.
Or?
It is, no. We know these guys. We know the commander of the ship. He's an old friend.
Oh, phew.
And he offers his assistance. He can see we're kind of in distress.
We are in distress.
And so, I don't know. I guess perhaps it's someone we know from the planet who is out doing a job here out in the vicinity of the planet. And, yeah. He is asking us what he can do for us. And, he can help us get some fuel.
Yeah.
Or he can sort of repair our ship's hull. He can give us a better cannon for a ship.
Okay.
Or he can, heal us if we're wounded. So basically the two things that we're going to ask for is more fuel or an upgrade to our cannon.
Okay.
So
well,
who is this guy? I mean, he must be someone we know pretty well since he just comes up. Is rumor running ahead of us? Do people on this planet that we know already know because they're seeing wanted posters everywhere?
And maybe he is a leader of a privateer gang that are sort of like space pirate, but maybe he's sort of buttering us up because he wants to recruit us.
I mean, I would love to be recruited right now, honestly.
Yes. It could also be, was it someone that we've known from, when we were in the army, when we were in the Navy, so to speak? What do you call it?
The Space Navy.
Space Navy. Maybe it was an old sergeant or something.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering how he would know that we were there. I mean,
that's a great question.
You don't meet accidentally in space, right?
That's a great observation. Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
But maybe he's been tracking us for a while. Maybe he's Does he also know about the tracker on our cargo?
Does he also know what the cargo is?
Is he trying to, do a number on us here?
Yeah, or is he trying to help us escape from someone so we can...
So we can deliver the cargo?
Yeah. Is he...
Or so that he can get hands on the cargo himself?
Or are we just being paranoid? And maybe this is just a guy who saw that there was suddenly a wanted... I mean, I think he's probably in the same business that we are. I kind of like this idea that he's also in some kind of smuggling gang.
You know what? I think in the smuggling business, you do have to have a few friends, and they all know each other.
Yeah.
And when you can't do a job, you send it on to the next guy that you trust.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of our smuggling privateer friends.
And he sees that we're in business, and he's helping us out. But we also know that help doesn't come free.
We're gonna owe him, and he's gonna cash in on the most inopportune moment.
Yeah. And of course, he knows that we're involved with some kind of curious job. So he's already, he knows that when we get paid for that, we can owe him.
Yeah. Yeah. So he knows. Okay. So he's basically the best thing that's happened to us on this journey so far.
Yes.
Even though it's going to cost us a favor in the future.
So what are we most worried about? Our low fuel levels or the poor state of our ship's cannons?
What is our fuel levels?
Well, they're down to 7. So I'm kind of worried about fuel.
The problem with fuel is that we don't have enough money to buy new fuel.
Yeah.
So that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And the guns, if we had a lot of money, I would buy guns.
But we also actually don't know what we're going to use guns for at the moment. I mean, of course, maybe one of our pursuers is going to show up with guns, but
we don't even have the hull is not going to be able to sustain more than 1 or 2 shots anyway.
No.
So unless we can get the full upgrade, I think we should go with fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So we get 1d4 of fuel.
Okay. So it's not going to be a lot anyway.
No, but he's like, you could...
1. Damn it.
Jesus. You can kind of see the hose going through space between the ships. And then he's releasing fuel into a ship and then he just stops.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
What?
You owe me one now. What?
Damn it.
That was cheeky.
Yeah, that was a little cheeky. That was not... I would have preferred guns, I guess, now that you...
Yeah. Well, okay. But, I mean, I think the best thing is that we got closer to the planet without any negative incident, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And we got a little fuel. We basically just didn't lose fuel.
Yeah.
And nothing bad happened. We do owe this guy a favor. That's the problem.
Well, should we just sail on?
Yes.
Let's move here. We are now there. And now, again, we're down to 7 fuel. We've been there for a while.
Yeah, but we're much closer to the
We're much closer to the planet. But we do have to roll for an event now.
Yeah.
Which is the D100 thing. Come on.
34.
All right. 195. Let's see. Oh, that's a lot. We do another long-range scan.
Yeah.
So we're constantly scanning because we are anxious about if anyone's listening in. And again, it seems that there is a ship on our trajectory. We're moving towards a ship. So we can either approach it or we can try to go around it. We have no idea what this ship is.
No.
It's just there.
I really want to go to the planet because I'm tired of this,
Not
knowing. We need closure. Let's go to the planet and respec our situation or get a good look at our situation.
Yeah.
Sort of regroup.
Yeah. So we're going to circumvent the ship.
Yeah.
We have to go a big way around the ship. So we're going to expend 1d4 fuel additionally.
Damn it.
We're going to be stranded on that planet without fuel.
Are we ever going to get there is the question.
Oh, no.
Oh, expending 4 fuel?
We're down to 3 fuel.
That's a huge loss. That's a huge loss.
That was more than half our fuel just by avoiding that ship. But you know, it has long-range scanners, so we have to go round about it.
That's horrible. That's actually a catastrophe.
But it may have been even worse if we'd gotten
That's true.
straight up to
That's
that
true.
ship,
That's
right?
true. Damn it.
Then we can move to any adjacent hex and have a new event.
Yeah.
Or we can stay in the current hex. Or
do we expend fuel by moving?
no, we have to move.
Let's go east, I would say.
Yeah.
East or northeast.
Yeah, just move us to the planet. So now we can see the planet in space out there.
Yeah.
And what we're doing now is we're covering the last distance between us and the planet. And this is, of course, the most dangerous place when you're approaching a planet because this is where the most traffic is.
For sure, yeah.
So, gotta roll an event and have your fingers crossed because we need to get through this.
74.
74. There is static interference. And we need to roll a die to see which direction the interference is coming from. So you can just roll a 6-sided die, basically.
3.
It's coming from just south of the planet. It's just further around the perimeter, right? And again, we can go there and provide assistance, or we can ignore it. Now,
It's so close to the planet.
but look, if we go
Yeah.
and actually attend to it, we'll be no further from the planet.
That's true, but will it not cost us 1 fuel cell to go there?
Let me just check. No, not now, at least.
No, okay.
We can just go there. So,
Well, as you mean, okay, we are at full health. I mean, our ship is in good condition. The only problem is the fuel levels are a little bit low.
but you know, maybe we also need an in on this planet. Maybe this is someone who knows what's going on the planet. Maybe we need some intel before we touch ground.
That's a good point, yeah. You need an ally, basically,
Yeah.
an ambassador. It's a good point. Okay, let's.
Should we try instead of?
But it is specifically a distress signal,
I
or is
mean,
it just it's more a beacon?
yeah, it's this. It's this classical
Okay.
distress signal.
Okay.
Um,
By the way, guys, if you are in distress, don't use that signal that Jacob just sounded out. It's probably not official.
It may not be.
We may link to the official Morse code of distress later.
Yes, I can't remember the SOS Morse code
I
signal.
think it's dot dot dot. A long one, a long one, a long one. Dot dot dot.
Okay. Dot 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 dot.
If anyone in chat knows the official Morse code for help, please let us know.
Yes.
Sorry, where were we?
We were just about to go and check up where that distress signal actually comes from.
Ah, okay.
And we're just south of the planet.
Sativitra confirms my Morse code theory.
All right, pretty good. So let's see what we are going to find. We have to roll a d10 to find out what this distress signal is.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, this is the only peril that we have to
Luckily,
deal with.
there are these
It's
giant dice.
The hardest
rolling
part of the
through.
game is to not knock over your spaceship.
Okay. So
But an 8. An 8.
an 8. So we zero in on the coordinates of a distress signal. So you roll another d10. We're trying to determine exactly where it's coming from.
It's like every die roll is us narrowing in what exactly is going on.
Yeah. That's how you should see it, I think.
5.
It's coming from a ship.
Okay.
Okay, we know
Interesting.
that.
Interesting.
And you roll a d6 for the direction.
Why is it not there? Why do we have to go even further?
Because like we're picking it up in these weird spaces. So, oh my, it's coming
luring
from
us away from the
this
planet.
direction.
So it was actually where we were.
You know, but I think it's probably further away.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
d6 plus 2.
Oh, damn. So far away. The 6 plus 2, that's
You just moved
8.
8 spaces.
in that direction.
Yeah, we're counting 1 where it is, I think. Yeah, but then you just leave it there.
Oh.
Okay. So we now have 2 distress signals. They're all coming up from that sort of northwestern part.
What's
up
going
there?
on up there? Except for the space turtle.
Yeah, well, that may be part of
Okay,
the problem.
but maybe this is actually good that we're sort of gathering these distress signals, so we just sort of know a general direction to move in case we want to play the hero. But we can't do it now because we don't have enough fuel.
Yeah, but maybe, we're also drawn to danger in some sense, I think. So, if there's nothing else to go by, then we're going to go out and find out what's wrong in that sector.
Absolutely.
Because distress signals probably also means some level of lawlessness, since no one's attending to these distress signals.
We get to be the hero.
We get to be the hero.
And there might be a reward.
Yes. And that's all we need. And someone to somehow lower our notoriety.
But I think that helping out people in distress must lower our notoriety.
Yeah, if the kind of distress they're in is something that we can actually help with, if not like their ship has been infected by a horrible virus or
that would be a problem.
Yeah, can't do anything about it.
Wait, we have that spray, medical spray.
We have the medical spray. But
Let's not forget about the medical spray.
I'm not sure they can cure everything that's underlying a distress signal, but
unless, if not, we can maybe just huff it like as a drug. Stim pack.
All right. Let's touch down and find that art gallery.
Yes, please. How do we do that?
We just spent a fuel.
Okay.
So we're down to 3 fuel.
Can I just say, we've spent an hour and a half to move 5-6 hexes to reach our first destination.
Yes.
This game is going to take us 16 to 24 hours to complete, is my theory.
Well, I think it can end very quickly on a bad die roll.
Well, we don't have any fuel, so maybe that's already there.
I think right now we have escaped our apartment, we have escaped meteor fields, we have ignored several distress signals, we met an old friend, and now we're touching down on this planet in the hope that, it's not even about finding out anything at this point, I think. It's just about getting enough fuel to be able to go far, far away.
And getting to safety.
Yeah.
For now.
Whatever safety is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are entering into this starport. We're at the spaceport. And this is a colonized planet. And in this world, it's full of all sorts of various species from space. It's not just, humanoid creatures. It's all sort of strange creatures that are walking around. This is really like a Star Wars kind of scenario.
Sure.
Where you see all sort of weird beings and robots and flying stuff and tentacle stuff and fish-like stuff, and all these different creatures are moving around and with various sort of tech add-ons, I guess.
And it complicates things because we don't necessarily know how to interact with all these different species.
No, not at all. Like, they're talking all sort of weird clicking languages that we have no idea how to catch up. Which also make us worry, if we actually respond to one of those distress signals, do we know that we'll be able to communicate with?
That's a good point. But there must be some sort of international language or something that we can rely on.
Yeah, Morse code.
Morse code. Oh, God. That's going to be a problem.
Okay, so we roll a d10 to find out what exactly are the facilities here at the spaceport. Well rolled. So there is a promenade.
Mm-hmm, beautiful.
We're walking down the promenade.
How romantic.
And that's basically all. So we're touching down, we're stepping out, and there's just like this big, wide street where everyone is strolling down, like hand in hand, stopping, looking at the view, at the stars above, like little stalls with people dealing sort of strange food that you would never really want to eat. And we're just walking down there. We're disappearing into the crowd. Perhaps this is what we were looking for. So we roll a d10 to see what we come upon. This better be good.
9.
All right. Someone approaches us in a nervous state.
Okay.
Someone here is now physically in distress. It's not just a signal.
Okay.
Why are they so nervous? They're sweating profusely. If that is sweat or if that is not just their sort of way their weird body works, because
We don't know what their usual body temperature is.
no, we have no idea. But to us, they look like they're sweating and they're kind of twitching. So we read this as distress. So we have to try to kind of read them.
Yeah.
And we have to do a mind test.
Mhm.
So
But our mind is, we have a pretty good grasp of,
we have a pretty good reading on other people.
Yeah, exactly,
And we're
yeah.
pretty smart.
Mm.
We have good mental skills.
Mm.
So we get to roll a d10 plus 2.
D10
Because
plus
I mean,
2.
we are succeeding in many of these tests, I think, just because we have like really strong mind.
Well, we're a genius. The only thing that's holding us back is our ship. So now that we are
Yeah.
on the planet's surface, we should have pretty good, chance of surviving here because we're pretty street smart. A 10.
Okay, I mean that's just it doesn't get much better, does it? No, it's an instant pass.
Yes.
So let's see what we even find out. Okay, so we are being empathetic towards them, and they beg us to come. They want to come with us. Please take me away from here.
Well-
I need to get away from here.
Could this be a future partner? Like a partner in crime?
We can let them. We can let them join us, or we can turn them away.
We gotta have them join us.
We
That's
can't
a
we
no-brainer.
can't afford to turn this person
No,
away.
no, we can't afford to turn anything away. We need all the help we can get.
Even if this guy's got a weird scaly fish head,
Yeah, that doesn't matter at this point.
it doesn't matter.
He smells a little bit.
Smelly guy. Okay, so we're say, well, look, we desperately need a partner, and we may even have a little job for you.
Yeah. We might not be able to pay you much, but maybe in time.
But if you are willing to take on a few chores for us, we may be coming into money.
I like the way we're just lying. We don't know at all. Might be a new set of trouble, Jeden suggests. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
You never know.
I'm kind of also a little bit looking for trouble here because
Something has to give,
I mean, we cannot continue like this. We're almost out of fuel.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now we have a passenger aboard our ship. So let's roll a d10 and find out a little bit more about this passenger.
9.
All right. It is a green-skinned humanoid.
Aha. So we weren't far off with
No,
the fish
it's like-
scale.
Green, scaly humanoid. And they need to go back to their home world. So they are. Why are they here? Perhaps they, perhaps they said yes to a job and they didn't know what they were getting into and they were trafficked.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
ended up here and they just ran away from their employer. That is the place where they were kept.
They were enslaved, basically.
Yeah. They have been enslaved. And he ran up to us because, we were strolling so confidently down the street.
We
And-
also carrying a little, our little taser shooter. we do look a little dangerous.
Yeah. And we are not the authority because this guy is also afraid of contacting
Yeah.
any kind of authorities, right?
Sure.
And he just need a lift back. And yeah, we kind of want him to give a lift back, but the inevitable question comes up. So where is your home planet actually?
That's very important
Should we find out?
because that is gonna actually determine if we have a chance of saving this guy.
So we roll a d6 to see which direction the planet is located in. Okay, so that's straight north. And then it is a d4 plus 1 away. So it's not super far away.
D4 plus 1. That might be doable.
Let's see.
4.
Jesus.
It's 5 away. It's a little bit far,
It
but
is a little bit far. And it's again in that distress signal direction.
I think that could be something to consider.
It could definitely be something to consider. So let's see. We have a 1, 5, 6. Okay. So now we have this trafficked escapee
Yeah.
on board our ship.
Yeah, and so we don't know. We still haven't decided. I mean, we've told him that sure we'll save you, we'll get you back to your home planet, but we haven't really decided if we're going to do it or not.
I mean, it depends. I mean, eventually we'll get there. You know,
We're going to get there eventually.
We have a few things we need to take care of first.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah. We have to take care of a few items first, but we'll get there. Don't worry.
We'll get there. And we're also managed to stock up on some fuel while we're here.
Yeah.
He has, I guess he has basically skimmed off some fuel for his employer. He's basically walking around with his own fuel because he knows fuel is scarce.
Okay.
And he was that's the only thing you get his hands on. He was trying to sell it. We're like, you don't need to sell it. You can just give it to us, jump aboard our ship, and I'm sure we'll get you to your home planet.
That'll be your payment.
Yeah. And he has, he doesn't really have a reason to trust us, but then again, he doesn't have much choice.
He doesn't have any choice at all. Okay, so that's great, actually.
We get 1d4 fuel. Let's see how much he's carrying. Yeah, you can roll a d4 and we'll see how much is there. Right now we're down to 3 fuel and he's carrying 4 fuel. This is excellent. 7 fuel. This is enough to get to his home planet.
That's enough to get there and not enough to get back again.
But, maybe we're not looking to get back.
Should we also... Can we check on this planet where we're now? Can we check to see if we can advance our thrusters here? If there's a repair shop?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea. Because we need to travel faster.
Yes, this is not working out. We're not going fast enough.
No. So...
We're simply not moving fast enough.
So we have different possibilities here. We can, explore the planet further.
Yeah.
Or we can simply decide that we want to try to fix up our thrusters.
Can we fix our thrusters and then explore the planet further?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So maybe does it cost money to fix our thrusters?
No, we just got free labor. Our green-skinned friend.
Oh, our green-skinned friend.
So look, if we're gonna get to your home planet, we need to boost those thrusters. Yeah. Do you know how to splice thrusters or however they do it?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I think I can work those thrusters.
Used to be a thruster repairman.
Not exactly, but he used to help tune some of his friends, space bikes. So what this means is that we have to spend 2 of our 3 destiny points.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's worth it. That's worth it.
I also think it's worth it. So we're going to spend 2 points and we're going to put him to the job. And look, how well you perform on this job is probably going to determine how far towards your planet we're going to get you.
That's mean.
But literally, it's the situation,
But that's actually true.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to run out of fuel so fast.
So we just have to tell him, you need to do a good job here.
Yeah.
So in order to fix the thrusters, so we remain in our hex and we have him try to fix it up. 103. Okay. Does he have a name?
Does he have a name? A green screen?
Does he call something like Sark or something? Does he have a strange sounding name?
That's a great 50s sci-fi name.
Sark.
Sark with a C.
With a C? Sark.
Yeah. Sarg.
Okay, we call him Sark.
Oh.
Just gonna write down here.
Companion Sarg.
Our companion Sark. So Sark, he's working away on those thrusters. And upgrade. Yes. So we have to roll a d10 on his behalf, I guess. He's working hard.
7. That's pretty
He
good.
gets a 7.
Perhaps.
So he comes over to us and says, "Look, so I opened, up, the whole frame around the thrusters. So I took off that protective shield there, but can you help me with the wiring here? Because I've never seen that many wires in a thruster."
Oh no.
So
Oh no.
how do you?
He has no clue.
Not really. He's kind of asking us for help. He's unbolted the thing.
Yeah.
So, but he said like he has really only repaired space bikes.
Okay, so he's not the most experienced thruster repairman.
But we can apply our mind to this task and see if we can give him a good suggestion on what to do. So we now do a mind test, which is a D10 plus 2.
11.
It's an 11. Don't even have to look that up. It's an immediate pass.
Great.
So we pass it, and then you roll a D4. And again, it's one of these step-by-step repairs that we're doing.
4.
It's a 4, okay? Roll result 10. So we're down to 10. This is the last of the entries. So this is great. Incredible success. If thrusters are currently 1, upgrade them to D4. And he also managed to rewire stuff so we actually basically gain more fuel.
Wow.
So our thrusters
Great success indeed.
are now at D4, which means that every time we move, we can move from between 1 and 4 spaces. We have to throw the die.
Okay.
But we also get now a D4 of fuel cells.
Okay, so we do a D4?
Yeah, so we'll get more fuel.
Wow. This is a great success. 2.
So now we're up to 9 fuel cells.
Amazing.
And we have amazing thrusters. And, we give Sark a pat on the back because we may have needed to help him a little bit. But it was his own idea how to make that short circuit so we spend less fuel when we activate the thrusters.
So not only do we move faster, we also spend less fuel.
Yeah.
And we gain fuel.
Yeah.
It's a huge success.
And we have a friend.
But let's, okay. So one question remains is, do we see if there's anything else on this planet?
I think we do.
Because there's 2 things that I would like to find out. Is one thing, can we reduce our notoriety?
Yeah.
Or can we earn money?
Yeah.
Or can we somehow find out if we can deliver the cargo?
Yes.
Those 3 elements is what
I would very much like to see at least one of those. And I must also say, like, when Sark, he talks about his home world, it doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I'm kind of tired of living in truck stops and space motels, floating around, dodging asteroids. And, he comes from this beautiful, fertile planet, or so he talks about it at least.
Yeah, and also where you can actually get fresh food, fresh plants, and fresh meat.
Yeah, I mean, food that I've never ever tasted before.
We've only tasted like juices in a tube.
Yeah, it's like processed juices at that.
Yeah. Meat juice.
So yeah, and he lives up in that sector where all these distress signals are coming from, which is a little bit worrisome. But other than that, he sounds like a.
But he also saying that no one really comes up there. There's a lot of. It's a great place to hide. It's like probably how the Caribbean was back in the olden days of pirates and things like that.
Maybe it's a place to go and just get out of our old rocket ways.
Yes. But we do have to figure out what we're going to do with the cargo, though.
I think we need to hang around the spaceport and see if we can pick up any info.
Yes.
So let's give the spaceport another wonder. So if you'll roll D10, we'll see if we can find anything else around here other than the promenade.
8.
So, yeah. So we walk around. We find multiple different places. We can choose one of them to visit. There is a cantina.
Okay.
There is a fueling station.
Okay.
We have 9 fuel now, and we have thrusters, so it's less important.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
There's a medical bay, but
We don't need that.
we're pretty all right. Then there is employment.
Ah.
There are like posters for job offers.
That could be good.
And then there's ship maintenance, which we also don't really need.
that.
So there's the cantina and there's employment.
The cantina, what is that? Rumors and maybe find new. Maybe we need to go into the cantina to find out if anyone knows of our drop-off point. If we can
Yeah.
find that.
Because,
those
I mean,
people.
we kind of already have a job.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not making any money, but potentially.
We're not making any money until we drop it off, at least.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the cantina is a good opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Let's go in and see.
Yeah.
Just hang around at the bar. See if anyone recognizes us. See if...
Because I think we were in the vicinity of where we were supposed to drop this off.
I think
Just
so.
waiting for the signal.
Yeah. So let's see what happens at the cantina. It's a large cantina, and there are all these various species of alien creatures and humans, and they're hanging around, drinking strong drink. All weird colors, bubbly, smoky stuff. And people are not like keeping to their own species. It's just like a complete madness of very, very different looking people. It's basically like going to a dog park. In the sense that, dogs are so different looking, right? They're so different sizes, different fur, different everything. We're just looking at the colorful differences of biological life in the universe seems to all have assembled in this cantina.
The fungi folk and the fishmen.
Yeah. And they're all conversing happily.
Yes, that's great.
Drinking.
That's great.
So let's roll a d10 and see if there's any action around here.
Sure. 6.
All right. So there is an opportunity to bet on the space races,
We do need money.
but we must have money.
Yeah, of course.
So, someone said like the space races. Are you in? Like he's got really good odds for this one ship. Or maybe we could offer up our own ship.
Well, now that the thrusters has been fixed, that might
Is
be a
this
chance.
a way to make money?
This could be a way to make money.
I mean, since we don't have any money, let's see how they react to us. Well, let's see. Is this really right? Okay. Yeah, no, we don't have any money. So we basically,
Fair enough.
yeah, we get like a complimentary drink.
Yeah.
And we sit and hang over that. But that's really all that's in the cantina. So
okay.
it seems that no one is recognizing us. That's good.
Yeah,
It means we lost our tail.
Yeah.
And now we just have these artworks. And maybe we'll never figure out the meaning. Maybe we'll never know what is it about. Why are people wanting these? Is this, who's out to get them? Is there any secret information in them? What is it? We don't know.
So do we take SAR? Do we go with SAR? Because we're done here. We can't.
We can't go to the employment office just to check up.
We could go to the employment office. That's true. Let's do that.
Yeah. Should we just wander? It's just around the corner.
And we just exhaust our options here. Let's do that.
It's just around the corner. Let's go down there and see what it says. It's a whole employment district.
Oh, wow.
So all these stragglers walking around looking for jobs.
Yeah, okay.
Some proper jobs, some pretty seedy jobs. So again, if you would roll a D6. No, it must be a D10. Roll a D6 apparently.
6.
Okay. So, you run into a past employer who owes you for previous work.
Is that the same guy?
I think that we chance upon maybe, maybe not the main guy, but certainly the guy who hired us
Yes.
to deliver this artwork. And we come up to him and say, hey, we got your cargo. We got it all there. I mean, a few corners may be chipped because we went through an asteroid field.
But also we say, listen, we can't hold on to this longer. It's getting hot on our heels. We don't like the vibe that this cargo is giving off. Something fishy about it. How do we get rid of it?
And actually, we want double pay.
Yes.
We had to leave our apartment. There are people following us. We don't even know if we can go back to that place where we've been staying. He needs to pay off, or else.
Or else Sar will have a few words with him.
Yeah, and Sark is just standing there in the background looking all twitchy.
And green.
But he also knows that we are his ticket home. So I think we got some muscle in Sark.
Absolutely.
Even though he may not be the most muscular guy around.
He can hold his
intense.
own. He can hold his own.
Yeah. I mean, he escaped from, his employer and everything. Okay, this is interesting. So let's roll a d6 and see what they say when we ask for twice the amount.
3.
3. So they pay whatever they have. He basically, look, I ain't got that much money. I mean, you can have whatever you have. He's squinting over at Sark. Like, I'll give you whatever I have. And he starts just emptying out his pockets.
That's more like it.
Yes. So let's see how much stuff he got. If you roll a d10, we can see how much money he's finding out of his pockets. Oops, 7. So he basically gets 9 lucre.
Ooh.
So
pretty good.
Yeah, especially for someone who never had any money before. Now we actually have money.
We have money, we have fuel, we have thrusters.
We have Sark.
We have Sark.
And did we just get rid of our cargo?
We just got unloaded our cargo, yeah.
So which basically mean that we got rid of our tail.
Yeah.
And maybe the whole point of this whole maneuver was not really the artwork, but it was to get us here and maybe meet with Sark.
Yeah, maybe Sark was the one.
Maybe that was what it was all about.
He was the chosen one that we need to find.
We're basically not, at this point, I think, looking to complete another job. We're looking for a change.
Yeah, because this was too harrowing. It was too close to call, It was too close to, it was a close call. That's what you say. It was a close call. And we don't need that in our life.
And just this kind of life. Like, we've been doing these odd jobs.
Living, from one cantina and one dive bar to the next. One truck stop to the next.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard work.
It is. So the only thing now, I mean, what we really should do now was we should get aboard that spaceship and we should just, go with Sark, head for his home planet and see if there'll be anything there for us.
I mean, we're well equipped to do it. We have lost our cargo, so the tail should be off.
Mm-hmm.
We have enhanced our thrusters by the help of Sark. We have money in the bank. We have a lot of fuel. Well, not a lot of fuel, but we have an adequate amount of fuel. And we have a job to do, or we have a quest at least. It's a humanitarian quest. It is to return Sark to his homeland, free him from the slavers once and for all. And perhaps, if Sark is to be trusted, his home world might be a place for retirement.
Yes.
Which would be beautiful.
There is only one problem. Those old demons, they keep coming back. And those money in our pocket, they start burning. We're like on the only colonized planet within, I don't know how many weeks of space travel. And we have money in our pocket. And there are temptations all around.
What are you saying? We burn off a few. What is it called? Lucrous.
I think that we probably say to Sark, who is eager to get off the planet, it's all great, We'll have an early start tomorrow morning.
But tonight, we celebrate.
I just need, to go one last walk down that promenade.
Okay.
And see what we find.
Okay, let's see what we find then, because we have our ticket out of here. or
Yeah.
not a ticket out of here, but we have a quest to do.
Yeah.
But before we do, maybe we burn some star incense.
Yes, this is a great idea. Do we have some star incense?
I don't know where we put it.
Oh, it's here. So let's have
the star mist,
some nebulous fog.
cosmic mist. I don't have a lighter.
You have a candle, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Cosmic mist.
And so what have we found? There is the cantina, there is the promenade, and there is also, wouldn't you know it, the underworld.
Underworld.
Is this where we get led astray? You won't. Yes. So you can perhaps see the star mist coming in here.
Okay, so we have the underworld, you say.
The cantina and the promenade.
We have been to the cantina, we've been to the promenade, but you say there's an underworld?
And we have money on our pocket.
Do we go gambling? Do we go...
It's just one last, and then when
Before
we
we
get to
leave-
Sarik's planet,
Before we leave civilization for good.
before we leave this life behind, it's just one last
Sure.
trip to the underworld. It's just for the
Sure.
night.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
It's just for the night. So Sarik, we get a hotel room, and we kind of camp up there. And Sarik, he's too afraid to go out, so he's just gonna stay in the
He doesn't want to be made by his former employer.
right.
He wants to keep low profile.
Yeah. So you just rest, and the motel is right by the spaceship park. So basically, the Eclipse Demon is parked just downstairs.
Yeah.
Of course, we bring our keys with us. We wouldn't have Sarik running away in the Eclipse Demon.
No.
And then we venture into the night here at the space station. Just one last time. So, this is the seedy part of the spaceport. And this is like grimy old buildings full of squatters and people standing in shades and low whispers when you walk past and burning oil drums at the end of alleyways.
Of course.
And we roll the famous D10 to see what we chance upon. We enter into some kind of conflict.
Oh no.
Someone is approaching us. Someone is starting an argument. Let's see what this is all about. Someone yells at us, and we turn around, and what do we find? Roll a D10. Suddenly, we are surrounded by masked people.
What
We have
the hell?
walked into the wrong part of the spaceport.
Some sort of cult or something?
Yeah, no. They say their boss wants to meet with us.
Fuck.
It's some kind of underground gang.
Fuck.
We can either go and meet the crime boss, or we can refuse.
I'm guessing refusal will lead to a fight.
And is this connected to the cargo that
Is
we
this
just dropped off?
Is this connected to the cargo? So I don't know, because we're alone here. We didn't bring Sark.
He's
back
in the hotel
he's at
room,
the
and
hotel.
we're kind of already wondering maybe we should have stayed in the motel as well.
Tatsivitra says you have to meet the Dawn. I kind of agree.
I think we have to meet the Dawn.
We have to meet the Dawn. Let's face our demons,
But who is this Dawn? Is this basically the guy we were dealing with before? He might have been part of that gang,
Yeah.
and now we're going to meet the boss. So maybe he's going to reward us because we dumped off all the cargo
Yeah.
with him. I mean, we delivered the goods.
Or maybe there was some sort of, they've discovered how some of it was broken during when we were avoiding the asteroid field.
Or maybe they just discovered the trackers on the goods
Yeah.
and are thinking that we
Or they're
put
blaming
trackers
us
on him.
for the tracker. Oh, shit. Jeden says, seems like you have two options. Meet the crime boss or meet the crime boss.
Okay.
Okay, let's
we
meet the
get
crime
it.
boss.
Let's meet the crime boss. All right. Let's hope he's not too bad. So all these masked minions take us to their boss.
Foot soldiers.
Yes. Roll a d10 and let's see what this crime lord of the spaceport he has to say to us. It's a 1. So he says that you roll a 1.
Yes.
Okay, so he basically says, you owe me money.
Damn it.
And
because of broken, some of the stuff was broken, or
I think
some of the artworks were missing.
Part of this is missing. And maybe there was, look, I think before we handed over the cargo, the motel we checked into with Sark, we were basically we met this guy and we wanted to give the cargo so we can get paid. And when we went and checked through the cargo, we found this little strange device,
that's true.
which is locked.
That's true.
And we don't really have the key for it. So we just quietly put that in our pocket and then we delivered the artwork.
Yeah.
And now the crime boss is not really interested in art, we discover, but he's very interested in some weird little locked device.
Yes.
That is now missing.
Damn it.
Roll a d10. Oh, d6.
D6.
So he says that he wants us to smuggle contraband to a remote planet.
To make up for the stuff we stole?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think he is looking for this thing. So he is, and we're denying that we have it.
Of course, yeah. Otherwise, that would make us a thief.
Yeah. So what are we saying? I guess he believes our story.
Yeah.
He says that, the authorities were there. They were searching through all our stuff. We just barely managed to escape. We have no idea where this thing is.
Yeah, exactly.
And he buys into that story. And now he says, well, you messed up. So you have to smuggle this cargo to this other planet.
Yeah.
Or you're gone.
Yeah. You have got to make up for it.
It's kind of job we have to take.
Yeah, of course, and also for our reputation's sake. Because if we don't do this job, if he doesn't kill us, at least our reputation is going to be tarnished.
Yeah. So roll a d6 to find out which direction this planet is in. 3. And then we can roll a d6 to have it. Look, I have a better suggestion. I think the planet that he's pointing out is Sark's home planet.
That makes sense.
I think
that makes total sense.
Yeah. So we are getting this other weird little data device or something.
Yeah.
He's not trusting us with something like that. He's just giving a contraband. He's just filling up our ship with stolen goods, basically.
Could also be that he wants to transport some goons, because they have business on Sark's planet. This is where they go to collect the slaves,
Oh, he is the human trafficker.
Yeah. So he wants us to actually bring traffickers with us to Sark's planet, because they don't actually know where it is. But now that they know that we're in possession of Sark, they know that we have the coordinates to the planet. And for them, that's like a gold mine of human trafficking.
Absolutely. I like this. So
we're actually leading, the enemy into the...
So we are basically now using Sark
I'm sorry, Sark.
to get access to that planet.
I'm sorry, Sark.
Only for these people. And they're going to be aboard the ship.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass them off to Sark, because they're just other passengers aboard the ship that are going there.
Yeah.
And they're also expecting us, of course, to go back with them afterwards with a cargo full of traffic.
This is a trafficking mission that we have to accept.
Yeah. And we somehow, So that's how we get out of it. We say, look, we don't have your little weird device, which we do actually have.
Yes.
But, we met this guy, Sark, and we got the coordinates to his home planet.
So
we're basically selling Sargart to save our own skin. So
We
we
have
haven't
to.
quite mended our ways.
we have to.
Yeah.
We have to do it. It's not pretty. It's not nice.
We're
but we gotta
getting
do
into
it.
this sort of murky space noir territory
This
right
is
now.
not good. But maybe we're also thinking if we just string them along, perhaps at some point on our journey, we can get rid of them somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for now, we just have to get out of the office of the crime don.
We're just saying whatever.
Yeah, we're just saying whatever we can to sort of get him off our backs.
Yeah. So we come back to the hotel late at night with sort of two very silent, very big, tough guys.
Yeah.
And tell Sark, hey, we got a few more passengers, we need to take them because this ride ain't cheap, and
Exactly.
so they have to pay for fuel, and so and Sark is clearly not comfortable.
No, but we sort of convince him. Not really, but we kind of convince
He's
him.
got no other option, right?
No, we are his only ride.
Yeah.
So he has to sort of go along with it. He doesn't like it, but he has to go along with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are on a really treacherous, great tactics with the underground leader. Just nod and agree to whatever. That's what you do. That's how you do it. That's the only way to do it.
Okay. A new day dawns.
Yes.
We go with Sark and the crime bosses into the ship, and we keep our little secret locked compartment very close on our body.
Yeah.
Don't leave it outside.
We still have that little, it's almost like a little shrine or something with a little lock and key.
Yeah, we just need someone to pry it open.
Yeah.
But we can't really. I mean, everywhere we go now, they're following us.
Yeah.
So we can't really do anything.
We're completely.
We would like to go down and find like the local lockpick here at the planet.
Yeah, no, but that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
There's 300 1980s action movies, cannot be wrong. This is like Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
All right.
So let's expend some fuel. And this time we fire up Sark's new thrusters.
Yes.
So we roll a D4 to see how far we can travel north on one fuel cell.
Fell swoop 3.
Woohoo! Look at this, guys. Look at this action
amazing.
here.
This is actually huge.
1, 2,
This is huge.
3. This is brilliant. This would be like 3 encounters before, now it's just 1.
Yeah.
This is
So that's insanely. It's a whole new game, basically.
Yeah, it's basically loosened up the entire game. We were like struggling through space before, and now finally, I feel some kind of uplift.
Yeah. All right. So
let's have an D100 for an event. We're
87.
still at max notoriety though.
Yeah, that hasn't really changed.
No. It seems difficult to get that down. Oh. Uneventful.
Okay.
Nothing happens.
I'll buy
if
that.
your ship's hull health has any damage, it does not. So
Okay, so it was a chance to heal, perhaps.
look what it says. Nothing but countless stars and the gentle hum of your thrusters.
Wow.
We're going so fast that no one notices. We're just speeding past all the trouble.
Floating,
Can you feel
drifting through the stars.
Can you feel the calm finally settling?
Yeah, here we
I
are.
am feeling that as we're getting closer to Sark's home planet,
Yeah.
this is kind of where I want to be. I don't want to be at the spaceport.
It's just good vibes, you know?
I don't want to be surrounded by goons.
It's almost like this new air that we're breathing in, the smells that we're getting. So much better. The
I haven't
sounds.
felt so healthy and good in my body for such a long time.
Let's dwell on this moment.
And look how beautiful space is when you're not being hunted down by authority or rival gangs.
This is where we're supposed to be.
When you're not anxious smuggling things through space, just drifting along.
We were not meant for that civilization where where everything is seedy and full of smog and pollution.
We are meant to just float through space like this, looking out the window into new distant lands.
Yeah.
And we can even hear Sark starting to whistle one of the tunes from his own
He feels
home
it.
planet.
He's coming home.
Sark is coming home.
Wow. Second action interlude before the final boss. This is like Feel It in the Air Tonight in the first Miami Vice episode before they're going to go for that crackdown. And, and Rocket, he has to call his girlfriend before they...
But there is, of course, a snake in paradise.
Of course.
Because we are right now also transporting members of this human trafficking gang, or not human, but alien trafficking gang.
Alien trafficking, yeah.
Right into paradise.
We have the snake in the grass, basically.
Okay, I mean, we're heading for the showdown now. I can feel it.
Not Rocket, Crockett. Crockett's,
Crockett and Tops.
Crockett and Tops.
Yeah.
Famous scene there. But yeah, of course, ominous music plays.
Beautiful. All right, but then we just fire up the thrusters again.
Yeah. We've had this little romantic, beautiful, melancholic moment where we're just realizing that yes, we're on the right path. We may have some, what do you call it, demons in our closet here, but gotta go.
Yeah, it's one of those travel scenes where you have like 30, 40 seconds of music and beautiful space scene, and the camera sort of zooms out, and you just see this tiny little ship floating through space.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of, it feels like you're coming home, and then you check the timer of the movie and you see, oh, there's still 20 minutes left. And then it zooms in on these goons sitting with their arms crossed at the back. All right, let's see what happens.
All right.
So I expended another fuel cell. We still got 7 left. It's plenty. And see if we can make it in one fell swoop all the way to Sarik's home planet. We can.
We can, easy.
We can even overshoot it if we want, but we don't. So what happens now, we just put a planet here, a planet-like thing. Okay. So we arrive on this planet. How does it look? Oh, perhaps we should just check, but I'm just wondering because...
I'm thinking like since he has this weird... kind of almost fish-like texture to him.
Oh, it's a water planet.
It's a water planet.
Oh, yeah. And the water is blue? Or is it?
Let's see. He's green. He's a green man. Green fish man.
156. Okay. Let's see what's on his planet.
Aqua planet.
Okay. So we arrive at this water planet. And we are basically letting off Sark. And of course, I think the goons have sort of a twitchy moment.
Because how are they gonna approach this situation?
But then again, like, they also need to be cool, right? It doesn't matter if Sark, he leaves the ship, because
they're not
plenty of people around.
They're not after Sark in particular.
No. They're after all the other people that they can get here.
They're probably also just trying to establish a foothold, so they want to get a hold of the coordinates so they can radio back and sort of let the rest of the goon squad know where to find them, where to pick them up.
And maybe that's what we're gonna try to stop.
This is our last chance to intercept them. If we want to stop them, we have to do it before they send the signal back.
Can we scramble the signals from our ship?
Maybe if we use the jammer on our ship.
I think we should use the jammer and then just leave them in there.
Yeah.
And just say, look, we need to go and deliver this guy safely because you're not native around here. You don't want any attention.
Yeah, we can't guarantee you safety if we go with us.
And look, the boss ordered us to do this.
Yeah.
So don't you interfere with what your boss says.
Exactly, yeah.
We're in charge here. And they sit in there in the dark, in the shadows. And we take Sark out into this beautiful planet, which is basically sort of tiny floating islands on this vast bed of sea. And we roll a d10.
As you do.
As you do.
9.
Let's see. Oops. 1, 2, okay. So, okay, this is insane. We deliver Sark back to the biggest island, and it's like a huge city. We hadn't even seen it, but it's a city that's flowing with rivers through the city and bridges. It's like Venice on fire, you know. It's like Venice all over this gigantic area. And people are swimming and they're sailing around. And the moment that we arrive, people are astounded. They're looking at Sark. And there's a whole guard that comes out to not just take care of him, but to greet him.
Wow.
Because he is actually the son of the ruler of this planet.
Oh my God, of course
that has
he
been
is.
kidnapped and ransomed.
Of course, with the kidnapped prince.
And what happens is that he is meant to lead them as the opposition against a neighboring system, which comes out where the distress signal is. And he was kidnapped so that they would lose the war. But now with him being reinstated on the throne, he is basically able to hold together the planet and to avoid this intergalactic war that was about to play out.
So we have averted sort of a crisis, a world colliding crisis.
Two worlds were about to enter into war, and we just willy-nilly came back with this guy. And we're gonna talk more about this, but here on the mechanical level, we're now getting star points. And I've never even told anyone what star points is.
No, I don't know what star points is.
But this game is about getting 10 star points. And when you have 10 star points, you have so much goodwill that you're able to settle. And doing this thing awards us 1d10 star points. So potentially you get all 10 star points in one roll.
So this roll has the opportunity to give us basically our retirement.
Absolutely.
So if we get a 10 on this roll.
Yeah. 5 star points.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty badass. So, of course, Sark, he invites us, you know, to stay. And we kind of cannot go back, right?
We really want to stay. The only problem is that we have 2 goons in our hold.
Yeah.
That we sort of have to deal with because they are moments away from sending a radio signal back to the Dawn.
Yeah.
Which is going to bring in several ships of human traffickers that is going to invade the island or invade the city.
Yeah. But we have that information. So he may have stopped a war, but we can stop an infiltration by an evil crime lord.
Also, let us not forget that we still have this little device.
Yeah.
That we brought along, that we stole from the cargo.
I think the first thing we need to do is that after we, you know, enjoy a night of cheer at the palace with Sark and his friends and his family and all the courtiers.
Yes.
We have to sneak out in the night and go to that meeting place that we were sent to, where we were, because there is, of course, I mean, we're meant to deliver this contraband. There must be some kind of connection or pickup place, or we need to, we need to contact the goons, and we need to do something because we have this assignation at this planet that we need to go to.
Well,
it may be returning down to the spaceship.
I think maybe in order for the goons to contact the Dawn, they probably have chartered us to go to the nearest waypoint or the nearest repeater station where you can repeat radio signals.
Okay, listen here. Sark doesn't know that those goons are goons.
No.
So he, of course, invites them.
Oh, that's the problem.
We cannot really...
No, we can't really tell him
that story because we cannot really tell that we brought human traffickers to his home planet.
No, because then he's going to take our star points away again, first of all.
That's what's going to happen.
And then we're going to end up in jail.
So probably what happens is that as this night wears on, and these goons, they're also enjoying themselves, but they're also sending glances between them, and they're trying to get a lay of the land. Late at night, when the party is into the small hours, and the goons have retired to their rooms, we kind of need to go and do something.
We got to take action.
We got to take action because, you know, Sark may not believe us. We need to find out. perhaps there's even something in that device that we're carrying, some information.
Could be radio codes. Could be a way to. It could be like an Enigma machine that would enable us to send codes in their language or in their messaging style.
Yeah, some kind of direct contact device that is being used to connect this whole network of human trafficking across this whole part of the galaxy.
This is how they use this decipher device to communicate between each other without getting discovered by the law. So they have an encryptor and a decryptor in this device.
So what they were basically doing with the artworks, they were trying to get this decrypted device to some other group or some other person that they were connected with.
The artwork was a decoy.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually about the artwork. It was about the decryptor device.
Yeah. And they were sending it down to this sector where we were down here.
Yeah.
But they're operating on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to open up that front as well. But we still have... If we can open this thing, I think we can prove to Sark what is going on. Mm. Because we can see all the stored messages and we can decrypt incoming messages that the goons have.
So we can either send a false flag message, or we can that maybe even incriminates the goons, or we could also reveal all the secrets to the authorities, or we can reveal all the secrets to Sark.
Yeah.
If we blow it,
we don't like authorities though.
If we blow it wide open to Sark, he will be able to muster a way to repel them, or a way to defend against them.
He's a strong leader.
If he knows they're coming.
His mere presence has just averted an entire war between two planets.
He can rally the troops.
He can do that. Yeah. We just need to make the link between this decryptor and the goons to show what's going on. So we need to have that assignation in the middle of the night at the palace.
Yeah.
And let's try to do that, because we actually have the assignation number here.
Ooh.
So we meet up with the goons in their chamber in the palace.
Yes.
And we roll a d6.
Number 1.
Okay. So, when we get into their rooms, they're not there.
Damn.
And we start panicking.
Of course.
And we just have this hunch. Where would they go? There's only one place that they would go, because they have already gathered the information that they need.
They've gone to send a message back to the boss.
They've gone back to our ship.
They're using our radio even.
They're using our ship.
They're escaping in our ship? Damn.
But we're following down because, you know, they have to hotwire the ship if they want to get her off the ground.
Sure.
So what entails is that we get down to the ship and it's just about to take off, and we manage to get on board, and we burst up through the atmosphere of the planet, and we're hiding in the cargo, and they're steering the ship, and they are communicating in this weird language, sending all these messages, and we're just recording them on our device, and they're gloating over how well they have succeeded and how ripe this planet is for the taking. It's so wealthy. This is much more than human trafficking. Like, they can just extort riches out of this planet.
Yeah.
But as they are leaving, we see in the background looming a gigantic spaceship, a warship from one of Sark's army ships that has seen the ship escaping, and it's looming, and it closes in on the Eclipse Demon.
Damn.
So we are now caught
between
the Devil's Eclipse and one of Sark's warships.
Yeah.
And a battle ensues.
Damn.
Oh my God, we should have never gotten on board this
ship. We
should
not have gotten on board because Sark has apparently already, read between the lines.
Yeah. No, but he's just seeing a ship escaping in the middle of the night.
He may even think that it's us.
He think it's us.
Yeah.
Because we're not in our rooms.
Yeah.
And neither are the goons.
So he thinks that we are in league with them, basically.
We have to somehow prove.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough.
Let's see what happens when the ship it looms.
How do you prove that how do you prove a convoluted political dilemma once you're in a space battle?
I don't know. Let's hope it doesn't turn into a space battle. But this ship is coming closer, and it's basically, calling over the radio for us to return, to come back, to enter its spaceport.
This is your final warning.
Yes. Roll a d10 and see what kind of warning they're sending out. It's a 2 kind of warning. So basically, let's see here. Okay. There is a toll. This is strange. So basically, this spaceship is not coming out to shoot us down. It's kind of a patrol ship that just, you cannot just leave the planet without paying the toll. So it's coming up and it's asking us to pay the toll.
So it's more of a routine.
It's more of a routine patrol thing. And these goons, they are not carrying any lucre.
No.
So we kind of have to emerge into the scene to avoid being shut down by this warship.
The question is, do we let the goons be shut down and go down with them as a sort of the poetic justice, or do we save the goons to save ourselves and our ship?
Oh, so you mean like letting the ship be
No, but
blasted?
we can't do that because that's all we have, and that's also we're in it. So
I don't think we are that much of a martyr.
But we have to sort of let our presence be known to both the goons and this toll ship.
We have to find out how much toll they are demanding.
Yeah.
So if you roll a d4, we can see if we even have the money required to pay for the toll. They're asking 15 lucre, and we have 9.
15?
We can't pay the toll.
That's preposterous.
That is preposterous.
Damn.
So is this our chance? I mean, what happens here? Because
I'm wondering, do we have an escape pod in this ship? Can we just let the goons get taken down with the ship and then we escape?
I mean, I guess that the way the goons react, they know that they cannot go back to that planet now. But why were they leaving in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
So they want to make a run for it.
Yeah, for sure.
With Sark's newly prepared thrusters.
Yeah. They probably could.
Yeah. And we kind of course, want to surrender the ship to the patrol and try to explain.
Because we know Sark, so we could explain everything once we get down back to the planet. We could explain the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Then we have to sort of fight the goons aboard the ship or something.
I think we should have a fight with the goons aboard the ship.
We have to try to outmaneuver them on the ship, like a hand-fist fight.
We have our ray gun still.
Sorry, we have a gun, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, assassinate them.
Well, I think we're just creeping out.
Wait, before Stigin Luke says, so what have I missed? Oh my God, do we have 3.5 hours? Because then we will explain it to you.
Yeah, well, I'd say rather than thinking of what you have missed, you have arrived at the moment of climax.
The opportune moment.
We are just about to leave the main planet where we have settled down.
We could do a little recap. We are basically a privateer that has been trying to deliver this precarious cargo full of alien artifacts. We quickly noticed that there was something awry with the cargo. We were being followed by strange forces. We arrive at the local planet. We pick up an escaped slave called Sark. We agree to help him to his home planet. Meanwhile, the people that we were supposed to deliver the cargo to, They find us. We deliver the cargo, but something's missing. We inadvertently or maybe advertently stole a little decoder device from them. The decoder device told us their secret, and their secret is that they are human traffickers. In revenge for stealing their device, they force us to travel to bring them along to Sark's home planet, where they will try to where they will oh my god,
It's convoluted.
it's convoluted, where they will try to set up a foothold of human trafficking. So basically, is encroaching on Sark's home planet. We agree to this in fear of our lives. So we bring the goons to Sark's planet, where we realize that Sark was the lost prince of a warring world, and upon his return, he brings peace to the planet. The only problem is that the goons that we've brought with us are ready to sort of colonize the planet and turn them all into slaves. The goons try to leave in our ship.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, we creep on board the ship to try to stop this, to try to stop them from contacting their home planet to bring the rest of the goon squad. The ship is intercepted by
a patrol ship.
A patrol ship from Sark's planet that demands a toll to be paid, not knowing that the goons are on board. We are now contemplating having hidden in the ship that is about to be blown up because the goons don't have any money to pay the toll.
And they just want to escape.
Then they want to escape. So instead of being taken prisoner and you maybe get a chance to explain the whole situation, the goons are ready to, push the pedal and try to escape in a hail of gunfire. So right now we have agreed to sort of see if we can assassinate the two goons using our stun gun, and that will hopefully give us a moment to explain to the patrol ship that we are actually Sark's friend, and we can explain everything.
That was a pretty good recap. That was a pretty good 2-minute recap.
That was a 2-minute recap. KG, I'm not doing that again. This was a whole recap of the entire situation.
We're at the very climax, KJ, and right now I think we are hiding in the cargo bay of our own ship. The goons are trying to fly it away from this major patrol ship. Our only chance, because whether the goons succeed or not, we're dead meat.
Yeah.
We need to stop the goons.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is that we come creeping out of the shadows of the cargo bay, and we take up our ray gun and we shoot the first goon, and that means that we have initiative.
Yeah.
So we strike first, but we have to have a battle with these two goons, and they also have ray guns. And
we're also endangering the ship by having a shootout in the middle of.
But we are more, to some extent, we are more battle hardened, or we're more well versed with our ray guns. So we have more prowess than them. But
we're also more intellect, probably.
Yeah, if that's going to help us at all. And we of course have our healing mist spray.
We have healing mist. That
I don't think we can use it in the midst of battle.
Wow. Best story ever. Well, yeah, there you go.
So let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it. Epic space battle within our
ship, which is being chased by a giant warship.
Yeah. And I also don't, our spaceship, the only thing our ship has going for it is it has a lot of speed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any defenses at all. Okay, let's see.
All right. So what we do now is that we are going to fight them. We take out our ray gun, which is puny ray gun, but it's a ray gun, and we have more prowess than they do, so we're kind of on the up and up here. So we roll a d10 plus 2 on just one of the attackers. And we have initiative. That's all we have.
We need to take down two attackers.
Yes, so this is going to be tough.
1.
Oh
my God.
Even with plus 2, it's a miss.
No.
So we shoot, and the bullet just goes straight into the control panels.
Just hits the radio or something.
Yeah. Right when the patrol ship was saying, turn around, come back.
This is your final warning.
And then it goes out. The two goons turn around. They reach for their guns, and a battle ensues.
Oh my God.
So.
Destiny points. Do we have destiny points?
Oh, we do have one destiny point left. This is where we use it for
Okay.
reroll.
Yeah, this is where we use it.
We have one
Yeah, let's do it.
because we're gonna be dead.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Can use for rerolling your.
Thank you, KJ.
Okay, there we go.
We
KJ
use
saves
our
the day.
last destiny point.
What do I roll?
A D10. We re-roll the thing.
Oh my
Don't
God.
do another one. Yes.
Nice. Oh my God. I'm hitting
This is
everything
excellent.
here.
+2. So, okay, this is amazing. So we basically hit him right in the back of the head, and he falls down over the control panel, blood splattering everywhere. The other guy turns around, and because we did an 11,
Yeah.
we immediately get another attack. So we just,
Okay.
come on,
So another 10.
+2.
Ah,
And it's a 4,
Four.
and he's right there. But, you know, we get so surprised over hitting the first guy. The other one turns around and we shoot, and he just jumps to the side, and we hit the control panel. The radio dies. He pulls out his gun and he shoots back. And he's got a 10 -2. And it's a 7. It's only light damage.
Okay.
So we take, it just grazes our arm, this
Yeah.
bullet. And we lurch forward. He's still standing there. He's still looking shocked. The radio is crackling in the background. And we take another shot at this
Final
guy.
warning. Attack
him.
imminent.
And it's a 12.
Headshot.
Absolute headshot. We blow this guy's brains out. He falls down. And we just look. And we can even see like the turrets are turning on this patrol ship. And you know, the ports are opening and the cannons are coming out. And we just
warming up.
hit that button for the emergency radio override direct communication control button.
Exactly. We scramble to find an alternative channel.
Yeah, and we just, our hands are slushing around in the blood of these two guys that splattered over the control panel.
We're just fumbling and stumbling in this pool of blood.
We're just pressing everything, thrusters going on and off. The whole ship is blinking. And we just hold fire, hold fire, hold fire.
We need to talk to Sark.
We need to talk to Sark. And we manage to have them hold their fire, and we turn the ship, and the doors of the spaceport opens like a womb, and our little ship flies inside the patrol ship. And we touch down there on the platform.
And luckily, they recognize us from the festivities the day before. And say, aren't you the woman who saved Sark from slavery and returned him to his home planet, only to become prince once more, only to save us from future wars?
And
Why, yes, that is us.
yes, but those were your friends? No.
No.
They held Sark captive for years on this planet.
This device will explain everything.
And we pull out a lock device, and they look at it and say, oh, we can easily open this thing.
Sweet music plays.
Sweet music plays, and they take us down to the planet. Sark is actually on his way to bed at this moment because it was in the middle of the night.
He didn't even know the peril he was in.
Absolutely not. He's called aside. He comes down. There's a lot of explaining to do. There's a lot of greetings and hugging and tears and laughter. And Sark, he set his best code breakers to work on this device to unlock it.
I prepare for a counterattack.
Yes.
Once they get the coordinates where the goons live.
But look, the goons don't know where we live.
No.
And maybe instead of counterattacking, because it doesn't lead to any good. It's just going to be,
That's the
revenge
Sark
upon
way.
revenge.
That's how Sark thinks,
Yeah, you just...
It's a man of peace.
Yeah, you just hide away. Which is why one of the reasons that this planet has never been discovered is that it has all these solar mirrors floating around the planet.
Exactly, yeah.
That makes it practically invisible.
That's how you survive as an alien underwater race.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
And the beauty of it is that alias, as we are called, can now finally take a name.
What is the name?
Lucy?
Of course it's Lucy. So Lucy has found her identity. Maybe, I don't want to speculate too much because I think this is maybe kind of where we wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend too much. But maybe there was a little connection between her and Sark. Maybe there was a little twinkle in the eye. Maybe there was a little,
So
they were grazing each other as they were talking about the goons. There were a little contact there.
yeah, and he was taking the medical mist spray and applying it to the light wound on her arm.
What a cliche. Medical mist cliche. Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I can
Okay.
see that KJ has gone all emoji on us down there for
This was-
taking down the goons.
This was an all emoji fight, I would
Yeah,
say.
it was. It was great that we had that fight. And I
Yeah.
think, I don't think we need to delve too much more on this because I kind of think that we're at the end of it, right?
We are at the end of it because I think this wraps up a very nice little story.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a great way to stop it. And I'm actually happy that. So if we want to go to battle assessment here, and we you could say we won, you could say we at least found peace,
Yeah.
and we at least found a place to stop for the night. Yes, KG, you have to
Yes,
listen to
do-
the whole
do that.
extremely convoluted space adventure.
But I think it's also, sometimes as we play these games, we go into them thinking that they're one thing and they turn out to be another. And I think with this game, it doesn't tell a specific story. So you have to carve out your own story.
Sure.
And some of the stories that are being told are really perhaps smaller stories. They're not all these cosmic epic stories. Now, we fell in with a prince of a hidden planet.
So that was actually pretty epic.
That was pretty epic, but still, it's really a story about this person who has fled across the galaxy and doesn't even have a name anymore because she's changed it so many times that she feels unconnected to any name. And it's really about the story of her finding her own true name by finally ending up in a place where she is secure and shielded enough and can actually start a new life.
Yeah.
It's about rebooting in space.
In space.
And yeah, I think it ends up being a nice little story told in this universe.
Absolutely. And also, I think, again, just like the Drifter, and maybe perhaps even in another way this time, I think that this was more open-ended than the Drifter actually was. This led us to having more of our own flavor in the game.
I think, I think this is, you can play this in different modes, but I think the way we played in, where we try to tie everything together, is a challenging mode to play in.
Sure.
Because random events don't necessarily tie together. And we did have to, bootstrap a few things here and there in order to make it fit.
We definitely hacked the game a little bit.
We hacked it here and there, but I still think we stuck to the premise. We never ignored an event.
No.
We went through the motions. So I think it's possible to do this, and I think it ended up delivering. We were searching for the story for quite a while.
Yeah.
We had like a story that we didn't really know where it was going, and then kind of actually. Yeah, as soon as we met Sark, as soon as we got money, as soon as we took that stupid decision to go, into the most dangerous criminal quarter in the space capital, with money on our pocket, the first money we had in the game, and then immediately just get mobbed by this group of mass criminals. That kind of that started the real action, really. And from then, I think step in step, it led to this beautiful. We could have died aboard that ship.
We could have died 1,000 times.
If KJ hadn't told us we had a destiny point.
But I do think the most beautiful. Well, this says a lot about the way we tell stories or stories in general. But the fact that it wasn't until we met Sark that we actually felt that there was something really at stake. So it had to be like a human interaction.
Yes.
That really sort of fired off the story.
One thing is flying around with a cargo full of stolen art.
Yeah.
But before you have a real sort of psychological connection with someone, it's just a thing.
Yeah. I'm being reminded of the Wing Commander games which was these beautiful epic space battle games on the computer. But it was more about getting the battles done with, so you could get back to the ship and hear the story, and
Right.
hear the interaction between the characters.
Right.
That was actually what the game was. It was just a long, convoluted way of getting to see the story unfold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we all the time, I think we are searching for story, right?
Of course, yeah.
We're going around, we're searching for something that clicks. And it took a while,
Yeah.
but I think then when it clicked, it really clicked. And I think this last hour or whatever really sort of, it was so beautiful, that journey we had, that peace and quiet where we used our new thrusters. And we just had that whole episode. We were floating through space.
The fact that you can even have like an interlude transport scene in a game.
Yeah, this was beautiful.
I've never tried that before.
No, it was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
We were just floating through space for a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
just taking in the scenery.
Yeah.
Everything was great until we remembered that we had these two goons sitting in the back of the ship, right?
Yeah.
And then came like a somber tone.
I also love how effective goons are in storytelling.
Yeah.
Bad guys.
Bad guys. Look, like Tatsevitra said, like 300 B movies can't be wrong or whatever.
Yeah. We have some comments here.
Okay,
let's see what's going on here. First truly happy ending in Hopeless Stream history. You may be right, Stegen. You may be right.
This was a very unusually happy ending for a hopeless game. Yeah.
Sometimes you're a loser, that feeling. Sometimes a hero, sometimes a jerk, and sometimes something less. Yes, for sure. The real treasure was the friends we made along the way, for sure. Sometimes you don't know who your character is until the end. That's interesting, actually, because I felt that very much, and also that we didn't. It took us a while to actually find our footing, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if we should have had more incentive to begin with, more of like, you have to go there. That's your beginning. Like in Barbarian Princess start off with, you have to cross the river.
Yeah.
And that's how you sort of know that, okay, at least I'm on the run from the king and his men. I have to cross the river.
You have some kind of an initial setup.
An initial initiative.
Yeah.
So you at least know you have to do that.
Yeah.
And this one, it was missing from this one. We may do. That's fine. We don't need.
Yeah,
that,
we made our own little setup.
Yeah, that was fine.
With the Arcus, but it is nice to have something. And I also enjoyed that we were just escaping. And for a while, it's great to be escaping. But then when you have been escaping for a while, you kind of want something to happen. So, and I think that was when we started looking for it, because it was cool shaking off the authority ship, going through the asteroid fields. All those were super cool.
Yeah.
And then we were like, now we need to get somewhere. And it was great that we touched down on the planet, because we needed that.
Yeah.
We could not just have been drifting around in space for an hour more.
And I also like the fact that everything felt so desperate, because we moved at a snail's pace. We didn't have any money. We were running out of fuel. I love that. I love all this when you have to conserve fuel, you have to conserve your ammo, you have to conserve your food and whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you're like a desperate situation.
We were down to 3 fuel cells at one point.
Yeah, that was great.
And we didn't think that we were actually going to be able to get off that planet, because we didn't have any money to buy new fuel.
No.
But I think it's true to get back to this idea that you only find out who your character is at the end, that the way that I think we played this game, and also the way that we played the Drifter last year, was saying, well, the game is really about finding out who this character is. Because we start as a blank slate, we know there's some bad shit going on in our past, and we're somehow trying to, I think in the Drifter, we were more really trying to reform ourselves. Here, we were looking for any way out. I mean, and if we could have been offered a high position in some kind of weird crime gang, we'd probably have taken it.
Absolutely.
It didn't have to be like this happy prince on a hidden planet kind of ending, right?
No.
But that we got that was just so beautiful, but
and
also...
the way that because yes, we're always embellishing the story, but the way that it fit into our embellishments so perfectly. It was so great.
Yeah, it was almost, I mean, we were almost like, you know, a princess that was realizing we were a princess when we got to this planet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we've just been roughing it all this time.
Yeah.
And then I loved that we also had that really precarious moment at the end. It was like, look, we have to have a gunfight. And that gunfight might have ended our lives.
But how, I don't know if we should lift, how much we should reveal, but how much of that gunfight were you trying to sculpt the rules?
Well, this was just us inventing a gunfight.
Yeah,
There was no gunfight in the rules here, but it seemed obvious there was a gunfight. And then I thought, because they're goons, they cannot be as tough as we are. So I put them at half the strength of us.
That's great. But I think...
But there were two of them, so it was a very equal situation.
But you were still using the rules of the game to make it happen.
And we played the combat by the rules. So.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I think that was really great. And again, look, if the goons had taken us out, then Sark's warship had blown up.
Yeah, and then it would have been this poetic, like, disintegration.
The eclipse demon blowing up in the sky, and, you know, for a moment...
Eclipsing the sun.
Exactly, right? For a moment eclipsing the sun and then just falling down on the planet.
We have some more. Wing Commander, also an influence of one of many games. And Wing Commander is great.
It's also an influence.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sticking to classic games. Yeah, Wing Commander is amazing, especially 3 and 4. To be honest, I haven't played 1 and 2. But yeah. 3 and 4.
When are Wing Commander from? Are those old games?
Wing Commander, the ones that I'm thinking about that we have from the 90s, and I'm probably Wing Commander 3 came out in 94, and Wing Commander 4 came in 96 or 7. And Wing Commander, I think they both have full FMV, like a full video cutscenes.
Right.
And Wing Commander 4 at least, maybe even 3. I'm sort of mixing them together. But Wing Commander 4 at least had Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame. And several other A-level actors.
Oh, wow.
And like beautiful production, beautiful, production of the whole cinematic experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well shot, well acted, well scripted, you know, true Hollywood production. Amazing.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. I haven't played them. But
basically, you should just go on YouTube and see a walkthrough, so you get to see all the cutscenes.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
That's really the meat of it. It's like watching Star Trek or something.
Yeah. Great. Do we have more in chat?
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question for KG.
Okay.
KG, one question is, you know, how the influences, of course, is the Drifter. The influences could be Barbarian Prince. But what other games have you been influenced by? Because we've touched on a few here. Is there any?
We mentioned Star Smuggler before.
Yeah, Star Smuggler. Is there any important games that we missed?
Yeah, that would actually be interesting to hear. If there's anything else we need to dive into.
Yeah, because and also that, you know, okay, follow-up question. Do you have a reference out of those games that you have researched for this one that you think we would enjoy?
Yes.
Really, it all comes back to Barbarian Prince. It's the biggest one. Yeah, that makes sense. And you can definitely feel it both in the Drifter and in this one. And I think Barbarian Prince is great reference because it has so many crazy things going on. So even if you were just inspired by half of it, you would have plenty of fuel to sort of build your own game.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the Drifter or Star Drifter, I'm also sure Adventure. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm gonna get it. The way the books are structured, they are structured exactly like Barbarian Prince. So you have these rules, numbers in the beginning you go through, and you have these numbered events, you have these random tables, and then they differ a little bit. So for example, Barbarian Prince has terrain. So you roll on different event tables based on which terrain you're in, whereas in the Drifter and in Star Drifter, you roll on different tables depending on how notorious you are, how wanted you are. But the whole system is basically the same.
Yes. How is it in the Rocky Mountain Man, which is also a Barbarian Prince-like game?
So in Rocky Mountain Man by Nate Hayden, which we also streamed, that is also an event-based system, but it is less. It's not as what do you say, expansive and detailed as it is here. It is everything is much more sort of simple and straight.
Yeah.
So, but it has what Rocky Mountain Man has. It has that very evocative setting of being these sort of beaver hunters in the 1840s Rocky Mountains.
That's actually a funny thing about the Rocky Mountain Man that stands out, that you can always hunt, that you have these things that you can always do. You have actions, possible actions, which you don't really have in the other games.
I mean, yeah, I mean, in here you have mostly sort of move, and then you can do this thing, you can heal, you can upgrade your cannons, your thrusters.
Yeah, sure, okay.
But it's true in for example, here we couldn't generate our own fuel naturally.
No.
But in Rocky Mountain Man, you have to hunt in order to get fuel.
You set camp and stuff like that.
And you have all these NPCs in Rocky Mountain, the Native Americans that move around the map.
Yeah.
You remember we met different tribes, and one of our men married someone from one tribe, and she got mauled by a bear, and we had
unfortunate
events unfolding.
Barbarian, for instance, the biggest one. For being a science fiction game, it's all just seeing too many science fiction movies.
Yeah, sure.
Minimalist games, being very little components was also a huge influence. I got into big box games, and stripping back was incredibly charming to me. I agree. I love games with few components.
I mean, yeah. I mean, every time we're choosing a game now, right now we're constricted to a very small table here aboard the Eclipse Demon, which doesn't have a lot of space.
This is what you see now is the space we got, basically. We don't have much more room than this.
No, this is pretty much it. So we're restricted by that, but it also really informs our choices that we're trying to pick games with few components, with few mechanics, and sort of with good prompting for storytelling.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're after.
And good prompting for storytelling is an elusive target, I would say. It's very hard to know what that is, actually.
Especially because we don't play the game before we stream them.
No, but I also would say if you were to create a game that lend itself to improvisation or to lavish storytelling by the players, you would still have a hard time hitting the right target for that, because one group may have one expectation, another group may have another expectation for how much and how little prompting or storytelling you would have to come
that's the
with.
breaking point, right? How much do you prompt? And in our experience, less prompting is often better than more prompting, but it's also important that you have a sense of a setting and some kind of motivation, because, and I think, again, as this playthrough showed, that we were searching for motivation. But the moment we found motivation, the storytelling becomes very easy. Then it just flows. But without motivation, storytelling can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially if you only have a little prompting. But I always prefer just a little prompting instead of like long prose passages. But combined with a sense of direction, that can lead to very, very strong storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah. When people play these games, you do need some sort of background in the particular genre to be able to pick up the events details as you encounter them. Yeah, you of course need. It really helps if you have a frame of reference.
Yeah.
And of course you in the chat also picked up on all the 80s tropes that we were throwing around here of different sci-fi movies and yeah, but tropes are nice, especially when you are going off the cuff and you're having a fun adventure romp.
Look, I think playing these games sometimes is also just like, having a gun to your head and you need to come up with something. And what comes out of your mouth very often is sort of tropes and archetypes, right?
But I think tropes, if tropes are coming at you in real time, then it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but then, that's what you say. And then at some point you might end up in situations where you take a break and you sort of polish what you came up with. Yeah. And then you can add a little nuance here and there. And then you get a more sort of a full story.
By the way, I would like to plug, because what Jacob has been doing is he has been taking these games that we play, and then he has been writing them into a story form. like a novel format almost. How would you want to say it?
Yeah, I'm basically writing short stories or sort of prose text
Yes.
based on our playthroughs. And we have, for example, a prose text based on our playthrough of the Drifter.
Yeah,
Perhaps you
we
want to
do.
link that?
Yeah.
It's on BGG, the Drifter. You can find it. So I kind of use it as... I kind of see that the game is one thing, and then the playthrough of it is another, where we generate the story. And then the third iteration is just me writing something that is more or less closely related to our playthrough. And this particular story from the Drifter is called Eagle and Wolf, is the title in the Drifter forum. This is the story of Hopeless Hank and Big Hand Bill, two unfortunate brothers whose path crossed tragically, I would say.
Yes.
Because Hopeless Hank, he basically lost his life in the town where his brother was stationed as as a soldier.
Yeah, that's right.
And that led his brother to lead the army.
Leave the army.
Leave the army.
Yeah.
And go searching for Lucy, this mysterious woman that his brother had met.
To inform her that her lover
had died.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful story.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it you know, it's one of those things again that just happen as you play them. And you know, say in the Stardrifter here tonight, say we had died after an hour or something.
Yeah.
Then we just had cooked up another game, and we would have played, the people who pursued Alias, or some character. We played Sarek, or we'd have done something,
Absolutely.
right? At times, we sometimes worry about, can we keep on finding interesting story games? But
it hasn't really been a problem.
No, it's just something that keeps me awake at night sometimes, thinking, are we running out of interesting story games? We're not.
We're not.
There's so much stuff is being made, and every time I find another weird fringe storytelling game being made, it opens up like 2-3 more, and you just walk down that path, and so there are plenty of them.
Yeah. And also, we need to go back, and we need to play Barbarian Prince again. We need to play some of these games again.
We haven't played Star Smuggler. We haven't played the second Desperation story. There's so many things we haven't played. Ken has just released Adventurer, which is the third in this series.
Yeah, so there you go.
So we have so much to choose from.
And also, we already have a few, like a dozen emails going back and forth between us with a whole set of games that we're talking about playing.
Yeah.
So and it's different to games every time. So there's plenty.
Our problem is our lethargy.
Yes, of course. But isn't that everyone's problem?
Our lazy lethargy.
Yeah.
But no, we do it whenever we think it's fun, and that's fine.
And with that, with lethargy.
Lethargy is a good way to end the night.
Yeah, I think so too.
So so thank you everyone for watching and following our space adventure in Stardrifter.
Yes.
And thank you, Ken, for showing up and for having created this wonderful game. We had a blast playing it.
Definitely.
And we look forward to playing Adventurers sometime in the future.
The fantasy version, you can play 6 different classes, so lots of story potential.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, KG Cage, and thank you, Jeden, and thank you, Satate Vitrir, and thank you, Stegen Deluxe. You too, Cage. Thank you. It was a blast. It was a blast. It was a great game. Great fun was had. Adventures was had.
And we'll be back in a month's time with something new.